clips from it. It's so well done. They're not only producers, directors, and cameramen, but they're also actors too. So it's a wonderful thing. And Ty will tell you about the film festival they're going to be having at Schaefer Theater. But I'm very impressed, and I'm promoting this thing as much as I can. I'll have the kid. I'm going to bring the kids in next time I come here.
Nice. Okay.
But they're it's well, and it's free.
Yeah.
That's cool.
One of the things that I like about schools like MV, and this was the same at Herkimer,
right,
is that, you can go off to the Newhouse program, which is awesome. Obviously, you can go 2 years at MV and then go to Newhouse. But the beauty of going to a program like MV, for instance, when you leave MV, let's say you transfer for your third year and you go to Syracuse or another school, another 4-year school, these kids at MV will be so far ahead of the third-year students at a 4-year school.
I agree.
Because you dig right in. You're using, and you don't get that at the big schools.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not to interrupt, but another good thing is they emphasize, and I emphasize, short films for these young students. Do it short. It doesn't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And time, and you won't be killing yourself producing it. Short films, get the message and get out. So it's very important. And I think and I want to plug to the Munson is having the Oscar-nominated shorts on March 1st and 2nd at the Munson.
Short films.
Oh yes, yeah. I think under 10 minutes, and they're wonderful. And if anybody's a filmmaker, go out there. And I always
everybody's a filmmaker today.
I know, but I encourage filmmakers, learn from other people, steal their technique, steal their camera moves, steal everything. And just develop it and incorporate it into your own style.
Well, then you can make it your own.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Is that? I mean, what do you tell kids today?
Yeah, I think it really is about kind of forging your own path and kind of figuring out what your vision is kind of moving forward. And I think Paul makes a great distinction in terms of like taking in a lot of content, viewing a lot of movies, but at the same time trying to kind of synthesize that and then turn it into your own.
Yeah.
And Todd, are you from the area here, or where are you from originally, and how did you?
I grew up here. I live up north, kind of town of Russia area.
Okay.
He's a Russian. He's a commie.
He's a Russian. He's up there with the Poland people and Russia. And okay, very interesting stuff. And when is the festival and how do people?
So the feature film by Crow's Nest, which is the former students and current alumni from MVCC, that'll be debuting at the Schaefer Theater Friday, February 21st at 6 p.m. And we're opening it up to others to contribute short films so that we can have more.
Is the haunting of Hannemacher Hill Hall? What is that?
Yes,
that's what this is.
That's the film that.
That is the main featured film. So, is that also a short film?
Yes, it's about 20 minutes long.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
So wait a minute. I want to reemphasize the Munson. The Oscar shorts, they're very well done. I mean, they're professionally done.
They're being
and also Rick Lewis is having a festival too in Rome sometime in May. But I'll be back there with Rick to promote that as well.
Okay, all right.
But films are happening. I mean, it's starting to snowball, and I couldn't be more excited.
Things really are, and this is what is unique about it. I was talking about this the other day. Is that if you make a film here, we go all out. Do it in L.A., do it in Miami, do it in New York, Chicago. You're going to pay through the nose, and people don't. It's not a big deal. Whereas here, it is a big deal.
It's epic here.
Pretty excited
and to
about
update you on the Under Too Long Billy Soldado, that's moving right along too, and hopefully we'll get that shot here. And there's a couple other projects in the hopper that'll be happening this spring.
The Soldado, it's becoming a movie.
Oh yeah. He's becoming quite the celebrity.
Well,
his second book is out now.
He's always been quite the celebrity.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But now it looks like there'll be a movie. So.
Yeah. And on another note too, there's another author in town. I think you had him on your show, Johnny Swan. I went to his book signing last night. And it's an original remake of Charlie Chan. And our generation, I don't know, probably your generation, Andrew's generation, never saw who Charlie Chan was. So he's going to reintroduce that, and I think that would be a huge moneymaker.
Well, I think so, because there's a big following for that.
Yeah.
And John is a great writer.
I love John.
And absolutely.
He's a brilliant, man.
And we're celebrating our 100th anniversary this year.
Well, let's get on
at this radio station.
Let's get on the show.
And I'm looking back on some of the material that
you've been here that long.
I feels like I have been. I feel like I've been here 100 years since I got here at 6. today. Anyway,
you do it. I don't know how you do it.
there's a lot of really cool stuff that's going to be coming up. So
wonderful.
We'll cover that as well.
Keep me apprised.
All right, good stuff. Todd, thank you. And
thank
really, we appreciate the fact that you're keeping this program going at MV. It's really important.
Yep, no, we're really happy to have it.
Yeah.
And again, the event, the Haunting of Hanamaker Hall, is a great opportunity for the public to come in and see what our program is about and what our students are capable of doing.
There's a lot of stuff that happens from here. You know that Mucinex commercial you see on TV with the green blob?
Yeah.
That green blob is made in New Hartford.
Right.
There's a little
Joe Mandia.
It does an incredible
I don't think Joe. I talked to Joe the other night. I don't think he does it anymore. It's all,
he doesn't?
It's all computerized now.
Let me just keep saying it.
Okay. Well, yeah. Please do.
But a lot of his work is lot of his work is computer graphics.
Yes.
So,
and I love the little snot guy. He's funny. He's funny as hell.
Yeah.
But again,
Until you have him.
Yeah, right.
But again, the date on the what's the festival again?
That's going to be Friday, February 21st,
6 p.m.
Schaefer Theater.
At the theater.
Beautiful.
And it's free.
It is free admission.
Good stuff. All right,
Doors will
gentlemen,
open at
thank you.
5:30.
But can I say one more thing about MVCC's art?
This is your third. Can I say one more thing?
I got a lot to talk about.
Can I say 8 more things?
A lot of hot air here. I walked there when I first met Todd. I walked through the hallways of MV, the big building there. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, the artwork these kids are pumping out is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the art school there, the kids are so creative, and so talented, and I thought it was like store bought stuff, but I mean, it's all original stuff. MVCC,
So it's not stock footage. They're not using stock.
MVCC is a treasure for the arts, and I don't know what's going to happen to it when Kathy Hochul makes community colleges free.
Oh, right.
See, I ended on a political note there. See that? Catch that?
Got it right in there. But will she? Will she will be the question. Will she be able to?
I'll go back to school if it is.
Mike this morning says Todd's voice sounds like he definitely could be an arm wrestler. You ever arm wrestle?
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. That's what we said when that guy was in here.
I'm not going to take him on. No way.
Don't argue with him.
How about Michael Grimaldi is like one of the best in the world, and you could see him any day at Boulevard Diner. Pretty wild when it comes to arm wrestling.
Wow.
A lot of stuff happening around here. All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, William. Thank you, Andrew.
Quick break, and we'll come right back at WIBX.
Looking for an insurance agency that treats you like family? Look no further than WB Payne Insurance, a family-owned and operated agency serving the community for over 65 years. At WB Payne Insurance, they understand that family comes first, and they're here to protect what matters most to you. Whether it's your home, your car, or your business, they've got you covered. WB Payne Insurance. Learn more or get a quote today by visiting WBPayneco.com. WB Payne Insurance, protecting your family like it's their own, with smart solutions to save you money.
The President's Day sales are on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, Stearns & Foster, Purple, and Puffy. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or consumercellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 6:34. I'm Andrew Dominio. Right now, we're at 30 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Onondaga County Sheriff Toby Shelley says neither he nor his office will detain undocumented migrants for ICE officials. ICE uses detainers to get custody of individuals so they can be deported. Shelley says the policy has been in effect since he took office in 2023 and that he swore an oath to protect constitutional rights. President Trump's administration has been cracking down on immigration since returning to power last month. We'll speak to Oneida County Sheriff Rob Maciel this morning about Toby Shelley and his stance on this situation. Central New York drivers are seeing steady prices at the pump when it comes time to fill up their vehicles. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel in the Central New York region is $3.15. That's the same as it was last week, but is 3 cents higher than this time a month ago. The state average for gas is sitting at $3.17 a gallon, while nationally it's $3.09. A New York State appellate court has overturned the first-degree manslaughter conviction of Caitlin Conley in regards to the death of her boss, Mary Louise Yoder. Conley had been sentenced to 23 years in prison. As a result, Conley will be released. The Oneida County District Attorney's Office is expected to retain the option to retry the case. The appeal was based on evidence that was inadmissible in the first trial from Conley's personal cell phone, but was inadvertently used in the second trial. According to the decision, the warrant issued for the seizure of Conley's cell phone did not permit the prosecution from searching the contents of her phone. In the decision, the appellate court ruled that Conley's first attorney, Christopher Pelly, provided ineffective counsel because he failed to challenge the evidence obtained by the prosecution from the cell phone. An Oneida man was killed Friday in a crash in the town of Vernon. The crash happened along Prospect Street around 7 p.m. Friday, according to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. Officials say 48-year-old Jeremiah Kraft was pronounced dead at Oneida Health. They say Kraft moved from his lane unsafely and hit a tree head-on. And that little rodent says, well, there's going to be more winter. A record-setting crowd of 50,000 people, including Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, celebrated Groundhog Day in 20-degree temperatures at Gobbler's Knob in Puxatawney, Pennsylvania, for the seer of seers to make his prediction. Shortly before 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time Sunday morning, the president of the Inner Circle used his magic cane to determine which of the two scrolls Puxatawney Phil wanted to be read. The scroll read that Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, and we're in for 6 more weeks of winter. Groundhog Day dates back to 1886, and legend has it Punxsutawney Phil has never been wrong.
Yeah, never.
It has been one of the coldest, snowiest winters that we've seen in recent years.
Well, we've been spoiled terribly, and this is kind of winter-like. There's really no doubt about it. But unofficially, Punxsutawney Phil says 6 more weeks. Officially, March 20th is the first day of spring.
So there you go.
If you're keeping track. All right. And it is going to be a little interesting today because we're going to be getting a little snow later on and a little bit of a warm-up and a little bit of a cool-down, all packed in to one day here on this Monday.
That is correct. Let's hear from Ray.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, EasyCater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at EasyCater.com. Going to be a little slick around town this morning, and it looks like we will see some rain and snow showers around today. Not looking for much in the way of accumulating snow and or rain. I think that rain chance will be best into the afternoon as we get up near 40. Tonight, some rain showers, mid-20s, changing on over to snow showers late. Could get a little icy for Tuesday morning. There'll be some snow showers around Tuesday in the upper 20s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, we're at 29 degrees under cloudy skies. It is 6:40.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
It's usually the other way around.
Yeah, it scared the daylights out of me. All right, I normally don't ask for assistance in something like this, but I'm going to. We have a real problem where snow fell off the roof of this building. Let me tell you, it'll cover a car. And if there's someone out there in the Marcy area who has a real shovel.
Yeah, like a bladed shovel.
We have a plastic shovel that we cannot. So when guests are coming in, you're going to have to climb over a mountain. Well, it's not that bad, but it's a good 2.5, 3 feet.
Yeah.
Small blocking hill. Our stairway into the building. So we all climbed over it, but I know people are going to be coming in. So if anybody were to be around and you're a plow person or whatever, and you have a metal shovel on your truck, even if you came here and said, listen, Bill, you have Davy's shovel. We'll do that. Well, right, Davy? We'll do that, won't we? Because you tried to shovel with the plastic shovel to no avail this morning.
Yeah, that shovel's worthless.
Yeah, garbage.
Yeah, I'll even do it. Or if you've got one of those Snow Joe shovels, that might work.
Won't work.
You can tear it.
No,
You can.
That would eat up Snow Joe. Snow
I
Joe
love
would
that
be
thing.
dead.
I never bought one, and I regret it.
Well, yeah, I got a chance for you to buy mine right now.
You don't like it?
$50, it's yours.
50.
Let me get an update with Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. Last night was the Grammy Awards. And Tanya, just making sure. Hello, here she comes, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only,
beautiful,
Tanya
amazing
J.
Tanya J.
Powers.
We love her.
The power of Tanya. Good morning. Good morning.
I was calling in to the swap shop. I'm interested in that shovel.
Listen, when I first started my career, I did swap shop.
That's
and
awesome.
There was a same guy.
Not all.
I think we all did. I had one guy that would call in every day with an old mantle clock, and he never. I think I was there for 8 years. He never sold that clock.
Yep.
I wish I had it today.
Tanya just made my morning.
I bet it was a beauty.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just wondering, you do have all of your clothes on, right? Because Kanye West made some news at the. Kanye West made some news on the red carpet. Where his wife came in and she was wearing a. You know how sometimes they'll be a little bit nude and you're like, wow, I think I can see through that. This was absolutely see-through.
I got to look this up now.
She's completely naked.
I don't know if our station network will allow me to look this up here.
Did you see any of that, Tanya?
I mean, if you saw any of it, you saw all of it. To be honest,
right. You saw all of it.
But here's the thing. Here's what I noticed more about that than what I'm sure y'all noticed about that.
You might be surprised, but I'm very curious.
This was not to me. Now, just to me, just seeing it like a clip of it online.
Yeah.
The thing that grabbed my attention about this was, aside from once the shock value wore off.
Yes.
This did not look like somebody. His wife did not come out and like by herself and stand on the carpet by herself and was like, "Hey guys, look at this." It was like he put her on display.
That is, my wife and I were talking about this. It was orchestrated by him.
This was
nude.
Something that was designed to draw attention to him, and he didn't move out of the way. It wasn't like this is her moment to shine. Boy, doesn't she look amazing? Yeah. This was.
He kept stepping into the shot. He kept stepping in. Did you see the one point where she still had her fur jacket on, her fur coat on?
Yeah.
And he said he was telling her, okay, it's time or something like that. And she shook her head no.
Yeah.
And
this just kind of reeked of this didn't look like it was her idea. I don't know.
Look at her face. I'm looking at the picture now. Her face is not one that is pleased.
Well,
no. And that's what bothered me the most about that.
I feel like it almost seemed like, and not just orchestrated, but I hate to say this because I don't want it to seem like it is racial, what I'm saying, because it's not. What he acted like is he was her pimp and he told her what to do. And then he kept getting back into the shot. And every time she moved to the left, he'd move right in and put his arm on her, around her. It seemed very creepy.
Well, yeah. I mean, this was clearly a guy who was using a woman to draw attention to himself.
No doubt about it. And you would think that at this point, Kanye West should be able to do it without a stunt like this.
Yeah.
And what does this do for her? My wife is like, trust me, the wife walks around naked all the time. There are pictures of her naked all the time. But I'm not sure like this. This was stark naked.
I'm looking at a picture, and obviously this is from a website that has put the black bars
I
over
have
the parts.
The actual video. Yeah. We actually had it on in the background while I was making dinner, and the red carpet.
But also, too, at
it
a point,
all came on.
At a point, she left the house with him wearing that dress or whatever that thing is.
Listen, no one is saying, and Tanya, I think you could agree with this. No one's saying she didn't play a role in this, but it does. It does seem like.
So you're saying
this was all for him. This was his. He used her naked body to make him.
Oh, so he was
create a spectacle for his career.
Okay,
spectacle
gotcha.
for his career.
Yeah, that's and again, like I said, I have no inside knowledge about this. This is just that this as somebody viewing this. And I guess as a woman, I looked at this and went, what is happening here? And why does it look like he's ordering her to do this? You know, and again, I have no inside knowledge about any of that. But when you look at the video and you look at her face, and like you said, he's not out of the shot. He does everything he can to be in the shot.
It's like
and
leaning
that's
in.
just kind of what it seemed like. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think this is going to be one of those things a lot of other people are talking about today.
I agree. And when she shook her head no, clearly they hadn't practiced this thing. And it was like she'd changed her mind, didn't want to do it. And he's like, no, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. I mean, I don't know that he said that, but kind of felt like that's what it looked like.
My goodness.
Yeah.
What a dress.
Yeah, it really kind of overshadowed from all of the other stuff that happened. Like I said, you know, this is and that's what he wanted to get attention, obviously. But and he also preceded all this with a whole bunch of tweets that were just kind of out there.
Yeah.
Like he'll tweet a whole bunch, you know, and then he'll tweet nothing for months or a year or whatever. You know, so I kind of wonder what's going on there.
Yeah,
but again, you know, who knows?
What I have no knowledge. You know, I understand he's the guy who always has to have some sort of a explosion spectacle when he walks in, but this was a bit on the weird side. Other than that, Beyonce was a big winner last night, and you know, they started out really pushing, obviously, the narrative of giving money to the LA wildfire cause.
Oh yeah, and they recognized the LA fire folks. They brought them on stage with the fire chief. They started the program with "I Love LA," which was a song written by Randy Newman. If that name rings a bell for you,
yeah, sure.
And yeah, exactly. And you know, of course, the big song from Toy Story is what a lot of folks know him for. But yeah, this is that they started out kind of like as a tribute to LA and everything they've gone through with the wildfires. As you mentioned, Beyonce had a big night. She finally won Album of the Year. A lot of people thought she should have won it way before now.
Even Kanye West, who thought she should have won it, not Taylor Swift, if you remember. Yeah.
Right. And once again, upstaging a woman for his attention. But yes, that is one of the things that happened last night. Finally, a lot of fans were very excited about that. She also made a lot of noise when she won Album of the country album.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
And because she had been shut out with the country, award shows, and didn't, no recognition there. And there had been kind of a flap about that, from traditional country, so to speak. which, let's face it, today's country is not traditional country anyway.
Right.
But that's kind of what happened there. And then, of course, her win, and the fact that Taylor Swift is the one who awarded her the country music.
That is wild.
Grammy was because she won. Like, I think she said it was 14 years ago on that stage that she won Best Country Album at the Grammys. So it was really kind of, and then when you think about the Kanye
put all that together. Yeah, there's a lot there.
There's a lot there. But there was Chappell Roan won Best New Artist, which was a big deal. Kendrick Lamar with Record and Song of the Year. That was also a big win for him. There was a lot of big moments last night at the Grammys.
All right, and then of course it all started with the news coming out. I think they blocked them. What I read initially was Kanye and his wife were blocked from coming into the Grammys because she wasn't wearing any clothes. So they decided, no, you can't come in.
You mean the mesh netting over her body wasn't clothes?
It wasn't even. It was like almost see-through silk.
It was like a giant, like what a woman would wear on their legs for stockings. It was like that.
Yeah. It would create whatever that was. Would create a soft focus, and that's it. You'd see everything. Yeah.
It was like a big pantyhose.
That's what I was trying to say.
Like in Raising Arizona when they robbed the bank or whatever, or wherever the store, and he's got pantyhose on his head.
The old-fashioned robbers that do that. Yeah,
exactly. Except this was like a
it was almost like glass. It was almost like glass because you could see right.
Yeah.
It was blocking anything, nothing at all. Yeah. Interesting. I will say this, Tanya. What a beautiful woman. I mean, whoa. Talk about what the look that every young girl is told this is what you're supposed to look like, and they become anorexic. That's what she looked like. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, it was definitely an attention-getting moment, to say the very least.
Yeah. All right, Tanya, thank you so much.
It's definitely inspired me for my next red carpet.
That's right. I need me some. I've got to.
Give me the pantyhose.
I've got to burn it in my. I need me some more pantyhose. Yes,
I got a fever. The only prescription is more pantyhose.
Yeah, boy. All right.
Hey, today on Swap Shop, I'll give you that shovel for pantyhose.
I got an old mantle clock and 115-inch tire. Okay. Have a wonderful day, Tanya. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Right. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio.
Happy Monday, everybody.
It was something. That's all I'm telling you. If you get a chance to go back and you can find, there were a couple of video feeds that did not blur it out or black it out. It's out there. We have obviously a couple of really big stories that are going here this morning. One we've already talked about, and that is actually we have three biggies today. Big stories, major
what a weekend,
major stories.
What a Friday!
I can't even get into the. We'll completely stay away from the national end of things because it was an enormous weekend with President Trump and everything going on there. But without getting into that, let's talk about number one. We're hearing from Senator Griffo that the Democrats are looking to delay the special election. They're saying to save money. What you really know they're trying to do is to prevent.
When has the state ever tried to save money?
Is to prevent that one person in Congress who can help push Trump's agenda forward that is missing as long as that seat is vacant. And so they would push the special election to June.
So is this a situation where I'm kind of seeing that you wrote this here, but are you saying that this is a situation where there could be an acting UN ambassador and Stefanik stays on?
Well, no. Yes and no. So that's the debate right now. That's part two of this debate. So if New York State, if the governor decides and the legislature is able to pass this one element of this to be able to push it through, where it would delay it until one special election held during the primary in June, then it would mean that Stefanik would not be able to, either Stefanik takes that seat or delays it and doesn't take the seat. And that would mean that basically staff at the UN,
yeah.
at the UN, the American embassy, the staff would handle the duties, and we would be without an
ambassador.
Yes.
Interesting.
And that's very interesting. And Stefanik would stay in Congress until maybe, until maybe June.
But the kind of the catch-22 is she'd still have to resign the seat for there to be a special election.
That's the problem. So
at what point is it in May?
Well, you may not see her resign the seat this week, which means all those people that are vying for that 21st congressional seat, waiting for her to resign so the chairman of the political party, the Republicans and Democrats, can name their candidate. It's all being delayed. Maybe. And that's what we'll have Griffo in really to get into it. He, of course, is very against it. And Stefanik may just still resign this week, and whatever happens, happens. Or she delays her resignation, does not take the ambassadorship until later on at the very last minute that she can. And then there'll still go time. There will still be time that Trump will be without a member of Congress, at least from New York. So that's a big story to follow. Obviously, the Caitlin Conley story,
yes,
is enormous. I have to say, we met with Frank Policelli a week ago and had a heads up on this thing, and we're expecting this to happen at around 4 o'clock on Friday or in the afternoon on Friday. It did. It is a technicality. It's very much like this. You apparently need, and I guess I didn't know this, if you get a warrant for the phone, which they had, what they needed was another warrant to be able to go through the phone.
And they just assumed that they could go through the phone with the original warrant.
Wouldn't you? Apparently there's, maybe this is a new law in New York State. I don't know. But you need warrant number 1 to confiscate the phone. You need warrant number 2 to be able to open it and go through it. And there's a whole technical part of this.
The interesting thing was that really wasn't even it was the fact that Chris Pelley didn't challenge that.
Correct. And I don't even think Pelley even used the evidence, I believe, is what he's saying. And then Policelli used it because it was there from the previous trial.
Yeah.
So illegally, that was there as part of evidence. And believe me, he probably wouldn't have gotten into it, I would imagine, because it's where the prosecution was able to say she had communication on her phone regarding Colchicine and colchicine, and that's where all of that came from, and therefore and I'm told I'm told that Caitlin Conley was the librarian right up until a few days ago, maybe. Was the librarian at the prison library, law library, and that she's the one that actually found this loophole. That's what I was told. She was well aware of it, and that's where this appeal came from. That's pretty wild, right?
It will definitely make the case tough, I think, for prosecutors moving
And then
forward.
I don't know if you know that case in Ithaca where the sheriff let the illegal immigrant go who was wanted by ICE. Let him go, and then he was on the lam. Well, he's no longer on the lam. He is at Oneida County Jail, and we'll talk about that on the other side. A lot going on this morning.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax-confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The Trump tariffs go into effect tomorrow. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and the president admits
may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that, but long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world.
Fox Business Network's Lydia Hu reports.
Imports from Canada and Mexico will face a 25% tariff, with Canadian energy facing a 10% levy, and imports from China will have a 10% tariff. Some warn that these tariffs could mean higher prices for consumers.
Mexico and Canada are vowing to retaliate. A contender to be Canada's next prime minister, Chrystia Freeland, tells CNN it's
utter madness. It is a betrayal of America's closest friend, of your ally, your neighbor, your best partner in the whole world.
New Interior Secretary Doug Burgum just told Fox.
This isn't a trade war with Canada or Mexico or China. This is about fentanyl. I mean, we've had mass invasion of our country, and we've been taking mass casualties.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will go to the southern border today in Texas as the Pentagon assists the Trump mass deportation of illegal immigrants who've committed crimes or are considered safety threats. Days after that mid-air collision, Fox's Madeline Rivera reports from Reagan National Airport.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says they're going to start lifting the aircraft as soon as first light comes up. They're then going to take the pieces that they recover, put it onto a flatbed trailer, bring it on over to a hangar where those pieces can then be investigated.
They'll look for more bodies, too. 55 of the 67 people killed when the American Airlines regional jet and Army helicopter crashed have been recovered from the Potomac River. They handed out the Grammys last night, paying tribute to victims and first responders in the deadly Los Angeles wildfire disaster. Firefighters gave out the Album of the Year award on CBS to Beyonce.
I just feel very full and very honored. It's been many, many years.
Beyonce's Cowboy Carter also won Country Album of the Year. Kendrick Lamar won 5 Grammys, including Song and Record of the Year for Not Like Us. America's listening to Fox News.
You've likely heard about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too, with their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. An easy, affordable way to see how it could literally change your life. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally, developed by doctors. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. Trying it couldn't be easier with their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. And it just takes a phone call. 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, every day you feel better is a day you live better. Try Relief Factor's 3-week quick start today. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Israel's prime minister is in Washington today, where Benjamin Netanyahu will hold talks with Trump Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, who was in on the discussions that led to the Gaza ceasefire just before the president took office again. And tomorrow there will be a different round of talks.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet with President Trump here on Tuesday, marking the first visit from a foreign leader in the president's second term. The meeting between the longtime friends and often political allies comes in the middle of a ceasefire and hostage release agreement between Israel and Hamas. Negotiations on a second phase of that deal are expected to begin this week. President Trump has also said he wants Jordan and Egypt to accept Palestinians displaced from Gaza and ask the governments of both countries have so far said they oppose. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Death and destruction in Syria, where a car bomb went off, killing at least 19 people. All but one of them were women, agricultural workers. Another 15 were wounded, some critically, as attacks continue following opposition rebels ousting the Assad regime taking over Syria's government. A former Major League Baseball commissioner has died.
Fay Vincent was thrown into baseball's top job. After working behind the scenes on the lifetime ban of Pete Rose for betting on baseball, he took over as commissioner a week after that announcement when his predecessor and friend, A. Bartlett Giamatti, died suddenly of a heart attack. Less than 2 months after that, Vincent had to deal with the San Francisco earthquakes that shook the 1989 Bay Area World Series between the A's and Giants. It was also during his 3 years in charge that people began to suspect steroid use in the game. Vincent warned against illegal drugs, but without help from the Players Association, could do little more at the time. He died from complications due to bladder cancer. I'm Tim McMaster, Fox News.
On Wall Street, a sell-off's brewing as markets fall overseas in reaction to Trump tariffs. Dow futures are down more than 600 points. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:05. I'm Andrew Derminia. Right now it's cloudy and 29 degrees. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Onondaga County Sheriff Toby Shelley says neither he nor his office will detain undocumented migrants for ICE officials. ICE uses detainers to get custody of individuals so they can be deported. Shelley says the policy has been in effect since he took office in 2023 and that he swore an oath to protect constitutional rights. President Trump's administration has been cracking down on immigration since returning to power last month. We'll speak to Oneida County Sheriff Rob Maciel on this issue coming up later this morning on First News with Keeler. An Oneida man was killed Friday in a crash in the town of Vernon. The crash happened along Prospect Street around 7 p.m. Friday, according to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. Officials say 48-year-old Jeremiah Kraft was pronounced dead at Oneida Health. They say Kraft moved from his lane unsafely and hit a tree head-on. Breaking news from Friday, a New York State appellate court overturned the first-degree manslaughter conviction of Caitlin Conley in regards to the death of her boss, Mary Louise Yoder. Conley had been sentenced to 23 years in prison. As a result, Conley will be released. The Oneida County District Attorney's Office is expected to retain the option to retry the case. The appeal was based on evidence that was inadmissible in the first trial from Conley's personal cell phone, but was inadvertently used in the second trial. According to the decision, the warrant issued for the seizure of Conley's cell phone did not permit the prosecution from searching the contents of said phone. In the decision, the appellate court ruled that Conley's first lawyer, Christopher Pelley, provided ineffective counsel because he failed to challenge the evidence obtained by the prosecution from her phone. We'll speak with a number of parties in relation to this story. Later on this week, we'll have Oneida County District Attorney Todd Carville tomorrow morning and Frank Policelli on Wednesday. Fire crews responded to 1712 Whitesboro Street a little before midnight Friday to a structure fire. One person was able to get out of the home safely. Crews were able to contain the blaze to the exterior and interior walls of the first floor. Because of the smoke damage in the building, one person is being assisted by the Red Cross. Early in the morning of February 1st, crews responded to Atlas Service Station at 915 Mohawk Street in Utica. Crews found smoke coming from the eaves. The fire was located in the service bay area of the station. It was quickly put out. Luckily, no one was injured. The cause of both fires are under investigation. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 7:08. Here's your forecast from the Weather Channel.
Could be a little slick around town this morning, and it looks like we will see some rain and snow showers around today. Not looking for much in the way of accumulating snow and or rain. I think that rain chance will be best into the afternoon as we get up near 40. Tonight, some rain showers, mid-20s, changing on over to snow showers late. Could get a little icy for Tuesday morning. Maybe some snow showers around Tuesday in the upper 20s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, it's 29 degrees under cloudy skies at 7:08.
All right, before you do sports, I want to go out to the parking lot next door And I said that ice had formed and snow and everything, and we could not get in to the building today properly. And I worry that somebody's going to slip and fall. John in Bridgewater has volunteered to shovel it for us, and he's actually there now. Davia, you're out in the lot right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. I'm here with John.
All right, put him on. Put him on.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Hey, John, you are the man.
He's a hero.
No. Hey, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Can Andrew park any closer to the entrance here? Why don't he just back in so that way when he gets out the door, he's right there?
I should have, and I did. I was a little bit closer this morning, but the whole snow mound threw me off with the lines and everything.
All right, listen.
Don't worry about it. I got a bad back, and I had to walk all the way from the end of the parking lot.
All right. Well, just make sure you don't scratch
Don't
the
worry
car.
about it.
Listen,
Make sure you don't scratch it now.
Come in the studio before you leave, okay? Come in the studio.
All right, Bill.
Okay, thanks. All right, thank you.
All right, yep.
That's John in Bridgewater. I'm going to tell you, we've turned away like 10 people because we already had John. John already called.
Thank you, everybody who has volunteered, including Glenn Stevener, our great neighbor.
A
neighbor to the north.
I just
of the parking lot.
Have to say that we say we have an issue, and instantly people are here to the rescue, and we really, really appreciate that. And John, we thank you, and we'll talk to him coming up in a moment. Andrew, updates sports here. Oh, it was riveting, that Pro Bowl. Here's Andrew. Here we go.
In sports, we won't start with the Pro Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs and Eagles have arrived in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. The two conference champions touched down in the Big Easy yesterday and will square off for the Super Bowl title this Sunday at the Caesars Superdome. The Chiefs are looking to accomplish a historic three-peat after winning Super Bowls 57 and 58. The Eagles aim to add a second Lombardi trophy to the franchise's trophy case. The matchup will mark the 11th Super Bowl held in New Orleans. Super Bowl opening night will be held tonight, and hundreds of media are set to interview players and coaches during their only public appearance before taking the field for the game. The NFC notched its third consecutive victory over the AFC in the Pro Bowl games. If you care, we won't go much into it, but the score of the flag football game, 76 NFC, 63 AFC.
Oh, how exciting. Very exciting.
One of the big trades over the weekend in the NBA, Anthony Davis of the Lakers going to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Luka Doncic. So that's a big move in the NBA. The Jets continue to fill out their coaching staff. The Green and White are hiring Scott Turner as their passing game coordinator and Charles London as the quarterback's coach. Turner spent the last 2 seasons as the passing game coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders and was the interim offensive coordinator for the final 8 games of 2024. London joins the Jets after serving as the quarterback coach for the Seattle Seahawks last season. Turner and London will work under former Detroit Lions assistant Tanner Engstrand, who was named the offensive coordinator last week. And I want to let you know, Bill, that before we get to John in Bridgewater, he may have hurt himself doing that shoveling a little bit. He says he's got a bad back. Well, guess what? You can go to Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica. Now, what their procedure does is it takes your body's natural stem cells and directs them to the impacted area to promote natural healing. It's a non-invasive treatment for your chronic pain with no downtime. It's about a 15-minute procedure. And why would you spend all this money, about $10,000 for stem cell injections from somebody else?
Yeah.
Or from a different part of your body when you can mobilize them and use them on your own. It's an FDA-cleared treatment. And Dr. Tim Delmedico has offices now in Utica, Syracuse, and Albany. It's got an over 80% success rate. And this technology has been used in Germany and Europe for years, decades, 20 to be exact. It's fairly new to the U.S., very new to Utica, and Dr. Tim was the first one to bring it here. Commonly treated conditions for Revive Softwave Therapy include plantar fasciitis, knee pain, back and neck pain, shoulder pain, rotator cuff tears, frozen shoulder, hip pain, TMJ, carpal tunnel syndrome, neuropathy, sciatica, foot and ankle pain, which is what they helped me with, elbow pain, golfers and tennis elbow, and so much more. So if you want more information, go to reviveutica.com. That's reviveutica.com. I'm a believer in their treatment, and you may be as well. ReviveUtica.com is the website. Let the healing begin with Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica.
So funny you went with that commercial because we have ReviveOurWalkway.com here in the studio as well. And that's John from Bridgewater. Pull that mic right up there, John.
Real close, John.
Get right up. Yeah, he's gonna help you. Yeah. Good morning, John in Bridgewater. How you doing,
man?
Good to see you.
Nice seeing you guys. It's quiet here.
It is quiet. Yeah, it's early in the morning, and but it is quiet. It's a different world today. With the brilliance of the people we've hired over the course of the last 15 years, we need fewer people, we're told, to get all of this stuff done.
Is that what they're saying?
That's what we've been told. You're so brilliant. We're just going to take some people away that used to help you.
Davey showed me the shovel you guys got. We had one like that.
Terrible.
It's in the landfill.
Yeah.
You need a metal shovel, man.
You got to have a real shovel.
Yeah.
And because you got to be able to scrape down, otherwise you can't. It's terrible.
We're down to the pavement.
And we have this building has this very peaked metal roof, so you get like 3 feet of snow up there, and it comes down on top of cars. You got to be careful. So I just wanted you had called up and had a problem at your workplace with equipment was leaking and all sorts. Is everything okay now?
What time? No, it's not.
It's still not. Oh,
I was late.
Don't get yourself in trouble. I
I'm
don't want
not. We got our final water bill notice. You pay now or we're shutting your water off.
Really?
So
how bad? How bad?
And then
is it?
before that was National Grid. If you don't pay your power bill, we're going to shut your power off.
Are you?
So they bought us and literally run us into the ground. We were a very profitable company, and now we're barely struggling.
So what is it? What is that? Is it some company that's just adding it to their portfolio and saying screw it?
They worked at a different part of the facility in Tennessee, and then 2 of them went on their own and they bought us out, and from there it just went downhill. And
are you worried? You have a pension? You have any?
I'm all set. They can fire me today. I don't care.
You don't even care. Good for you. Me too. Me too. I've said that in radio. I'm so wealthy I can't even stand.
I'm only there because I like my coworkers. I've been with them for 40 years,
Yeah. Can you imagine? I know they're probably out there saying, what would a day without John be like? I'm sure that's what they say.
What would a day without, I can't tell her name, but she's a call in here all the time.
She's competing for the money every day.
Yeah.
I got a great question. Had you looked over here, you'd have seen the question and the answer. It's
really?
right here.
I'll have to glance on the way out.
I'm
just noticing John's got his Buffalo Bills blue headphones on. That's so
he
nice.
Does. Thank you for that, John. Thank you.
They were on sale at Walmart. Actually, it's tuned into the Keeler show.
It is. We appreciate that.
A little bit of a delay, probably.
Wherever I am in the plant, I have Keeler on.
All right, you are the man.
All right,
well, we appreciate that.
We thank you.
Back. Hey, no problem.
And
you guys are.
Now people can walk in without killing themselves.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks so much. Remember, glance back here. Just glance as you're walking out.
I will.
Just a little glance.
Ooh, a little peek.
A little peek.
And I won't tell her. I'll win.
That's right. That's it. That's right. You take it. You take the dough. All right, John in Bridgewater, who just shoveled us out here. Thank you, John. Good seeing you, man.
He's a good man.
Go Bills, John.
On his way to his possibly last day at work. All right, okay.
That's funny.
My wife says, "You want to watch the Pro Bowl?" I go, "Yeah, let's sit down."
Yeah.
Since when do they play flag football?
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible, yeah.
When did they change that?
John's asking since when.
Don't forget your glove.
John asks since when do they play flag football?
Last night at our Pro Bowl party, we served all sorts of snacks. It was a blast.
Yeah, they were like little Cheerios and cups
and for the
bananas
for the halftime show, Kanye West's wife came in naked. It was something.
That was well worth it.
What a show. Oh, Lordy. All right, we got a break here. You do have a forecast, though, and Ray Stage.
We're good. We
did? We already did that? You do have sports. You already did that. We do have Pat Bescher coming up.
Yes, we do.
From the Mohawk Valley Water Authority, and there have been some outages, people with some questions. We want to get an update from Pat. Coming right up at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Open registration for the Boilermaker Road Race is live, and people are sprinting to Boilermaker.com to grab their racing bibs before they're gone, and they're going fast. More than half of the 15K running bibs have already been spoken for, so time is running out to reserve your spot at the starting line and punch your ticket to the world's best post-race party with live music, drinks, food, and surprises. This year's Boilermaker is shaping up to be bigger and better than ever, so run, don't walk to Boilermaker.com to sign up for one of America's favorite races. See you at the starting line on July 13th.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
I just want to tell you we have a lot going right now that we're going to be talking about. Everybody's got something big going on today. We have the Water Authority, Tom Hyland coming in on this electrifying vehicle, all vehicles and everything in New York State. The special election for Stefanik's seat. Could her resignation be delayed? Could her confirmation be delayed?
Yeah.
Because of what the Democrats are doing, trying to delay the special election to June instead of March. That's something. Caitlin Conley has been released, or at the very least, I don't know the situation now, if she's actually physically released, but her conviction has been overturned. We expect her probably to be rearrested. She'll then post bail, and then I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they negotiate time served. She's already been in jail for almost 8 years. It is manslaughter. I think a 23-year sentence for something built on such a circumstantial case. I don't know. I mean, she based on
with a good chunk of the evidence that's not going to be allowed to be used again.
That's probably unfair. Right. That is true. And then the other part is you'd have to find a jury. You'd have got the prosecutor's got to be named out of Oneida County, and there's just so much here.
And how is
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if she does time served and she's officially done.
And how do they say you can get a fair trial when everybody in Oneida County essentially has an opinion? There's been a documentary.
Very difficult. Two documentaries. It's going to be very, very difficult. And then Sheriff Rob Machel later this morning, the illegal immigrant that was considered dangerous and was being sought after by ICE, released by the Sheriff's Department in Ithaca. Now ICE and possibly the feds are going after the sheriff for releasing him. Nonetheless, ICE finally did find the man, and where is he now? Oneida County Jail. So there's a lot to get to. And it happens, I didn't realize it happens so often, but there are water main breaks throughout the footprint of the Mohawk Valley Water Authority almost on a daily basis. And maybe I'm wrong about that. Let's bring in Pat Bescher. But I do have some questions, and I know some listeners.
Well, it's been cold. It's been very cold this winter.
It's true. Pat, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill. How are you today?
Good. Am I correct in saying you guys deal with some sort of a water main break almost every day?
Yeah, you're 100% correct. Particularly when it gets cold in the wintertime. You know, the ground starts to freeze, and it just wraps around those mains and tugs on them. And, you know, some of those mains are over 100 years old, and once the ground starts contracting, they just start popping. And I remember February 2015, we had over 100 water main breaks in the month of February in 2015. We were getting 5 or 6 a day and calling in contractors because our own guys couldn't keep up.
Let me ask you, what in the summertime, what is the average per month, would you say, of water main breaks in the summer?
It slows down in the summer. We might get 3 or 4 a week.
Okay.
So you might get one every other day, maybe every 3 days, something like that. They definitely happen more often in the wintertime. And so far, we've had close to 50 since January 1.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
we've gone a little over 30 days, and we've had around 50 so far.
So I spoke with someone, 2 people, 2 residents. One, both of them really complaining about the same thing but different. One had a boil water order. The other one did not. But both were out of water and were wondering what was going on. When you go to the website, you see that there is an outage. You can go to see it. You have an update that is in somewhat real time. But what their complaint was why aren't we, when school closes today?
Yeah.
You get an alert on your phone. Almost everybody has a cell phone. But not everybody is listening to the radio or watching TV or whatever, or going to your website. Is there the possibility that down the road you could have a system like the school districts have where, because, you got everybody's address and phone number, where you could then text them and send out a message so that they would know, don't drink that water because there's a boil water order?
Well, you raise a great point, Bill, and we do have something like that, but it's in limited use right now. People have to voluntarily sign up for it because we don't have current phone numbers for everybody.
Okay.
But we do use a system. It's called Everbridge, and we have several thousand customers are signed up for it. And whenever we're going to have a main break and we can see the area that's affected, we immediately go to this Everbridge service, and anybody within that area that's been signed up does get a message. But we really, need more people to go to the website, sign up for it, and and then they'll get all the information they need. And the problem too is that not every main break results in a boil water advisory.
Yeah.
It depends how many customers are out, how long it's out, whether the pressure actually hit zero. So there's various circumstances under health department rules where we might declare a boil water advisory or we might not have to. So not every situation is the same. But if they go and go on our website, they should be able to find the spot to sign up for Everbridge. If they put a cell phone number in there, then they will get a notice if they're in one of those affected areas.
Okay. All right. So, but that is a completely voluntary. You have to sign up for that.
Correct.
And all right, then we'll help you promote that. That's something that we probably should promote.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Certainly a little better, Andrew.
So one of the other things that we wanted to talk to you about, I've been getting a couple calls recently in my capacity as real estate agent, people that are receiving notices about lead lines. And can you explain, is there some new legislation from Albany that is basically, mandating that you as the water authority make notification to people of possible lead lines? And what is the result of that? What is then the responsibility of the homeowner to do anything after that? After they receive that notice, especially with notification later on in an eventual sale.
Well, you got all that right, Andrew, except that it's coming from the EPA, not the State Health Department, although the State Health Department is responsible for enforcement. But under new EPA rules, it's called the Revised Lead and Copper Rule. We are now we are now required to send out notification letters to every single customer that we have where we can't demonstrate based on our records that they have a copper service. So anything other than copper, we were required to do a mailing. And frankly, it's scaring a lot of people. They're calling up and they're saying, what does this mean? What do I have to do? And in a lot of cases, nothing, because our records just don't indicate what they have. When the Water Authority was formed, we inherited a lot of infrastructure from various towns where they just turned over everything to us to own and operate. And in some cases, the records were pretty good, and in others, they weren't. So we don't know. But generally speaking, any house that's built after 1945 is probably going to have copper. They banned lead in the Utica water system in 1938. There's probably some still sitting on the shelves during World War II. There was a copper shortage. So some might have been, sort of a clandestine installation. But if you're after 1945 on your house, it's probably pretty safe. The other thing we're trying to do is get customers to take a digital photo and mail it into us but only if they received that letter. If they got that letter and it said, we're not sure what you have, can you assist us? Then anybody that can take that picture and send it in can get a credit on their bill for helping us out. But we have to have an inventory of where we think all the lead service lines are. We think the number's between 4,000 and 6,000 out of about 40,000 accounts, maybe 10% of them, hopefully less than that. But we're still not sure yet what our responsibility is going to be for replacing that line.
Yeah.
We don't know if we're going to be told to go on private property and do it all the way into the basement, or just do our section, which ends at the curb line, basically. So we're waiting for clarifications.
So essentially, if the line from the base of the foundation to the meter in the basement is copper, you've got a copper line all the way through. If it's not, I mean, is there the possibility that lead goes to the house and then there's some other material in the home? Because a lot of people, how do they determine that without having to dig up their front yard and see for sure?
Right. So what we're doing is we bought a special truck that can excavate a hole that's as narrow as 36 inches wide, right over that box out at the curb where there's a valve. And when we do that, we can see both sides of it. Our side coming from the main and their side going into the house.
Okay.
We're continuing to do that on a regular basis.
All right.
But if there's copper coming into your basement, then the one thing you know for sure is that you have copper coming in at least from the shut-off valve at the curb. There's a possibility there could be lead on our
outside.
side.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're still investigating that.
I spoke to somebody in a school district recently where they were told in their classroom that you can't drink no longer in the sink in the classroom. Can you drink the water because there's lead in the water? And they had to put a sign up that says, do not drink this water. How many schools in this area are dealing with lead water problems? And how do you determine, if you're a homeowner, what's the easiest way to be able to check it if you're in an old home and you want to check it?
Well, so if you're in an old home and you go down to the basement, go to your water meter, look at the pipe that's coming in from the wall.
Okay.
And, it could be kind of dirty, but if you scratch it with a coin, if it scratches really easily and gets like a bright silver color, then that's lead. It's a soft material and it gets pretty shiny when you scratch it. If it doesn't do that, then it's either going to be copper or it might be galvanized iron. And in which case you're probably fine in both situations. The problem in the schools is that a lot of older plumbing in these schools, these water fountains have a lead bladder that's part of the actual fountain. I believe that we're required to change all those out.
Well, this was a sink. This was a sink, not a water fountain.
Okay. Well, it could be due to their own plumbing. There's no lead inherently in the water. The only way it gets in the water is if it sits in a lead pipe overnight, for 6, 7, 8 hours. It can start to absorb the lead. What we've been doing since the early 90s is buffering the water with some fairly inert chemicals just to make the water less corrosive so it doesn't absorb the lead. And we're continuing to test new methods to do that now. And so we've been in compliance with the lead rules for 30 years. And we've had the levels down very, very much lower than they used to be in the system here.
Right.
But everything is a knee-jerk reaction to what happened in Flint, Michigan, which was 100%
right. Yeah. Well, so one of the things that a home inspector I know recently told a client was, if you feel like there's possibly lead lines, run your water in the morning for a good amount of time, maybe a minute to 2 minutes, cold. Run it cold, because what'll happen is if, let's say, the last thing you did at night was run your water and then shut it off, the water's still in the line. Well, if you flush that line for 2 minutes with cold water, any water that may be sitting in that lead line had gone through, and you may be okay.
And if
correct?
it's me, I ain't drinking that water anyway.
Right. No, you're right, Andrew. That's all you got to do in the morning. If you're not sure and you want to play it safe, just run that water for a minute or two in the morning. Flush a toilet, take a shower first, and get that water out of that service line onto your lawn and down the drain. And then what's coming behind it from the main is going to be pure.
Chances are somewhere in the water line there are lead pipes leading to your street or to your home or whatever. Is that correct?
No, none of the mains in the street are lead. They're all iron, cast iron or ductile iron.
Okay.
The only lead could be a service line that comes out of the main, perpendicular to the main, going into the house.
So all right, we live in a fairly new development.
You could have brass faucet fixtures that have a little bit of lead too.
Okay.
That's why we treat it chemically. It solves the problem all the way to the sink.
And then we're talking to Pat Bescher with the Mohawk Valley Water Authority. And then this is a person that's saying why do you not answer your phone? When there is a water outage, we call and call and call and just rings off the hook.
That's unfortunate. I guess I'd have to look at the particular date. Sometimes when there's a break, we get inundated and people are on hold for a little while. But I apologize to that person, and I'll look at the phone records and try to find out.
I can say I've had some times where I've had to call the water authority, and usually if I leave a voicemail, the fine folks there at the customer service line will return my call. So.
But really, one of the great things is this. It's called Everbridge, and it'll allow you to get cell phone notifications from the Mohawk Valley Water Authority. Go to their website, look for Everbridge, and sign up. Sounds like a plan. All right. Anything else you want to tell people, Pat?
No, but thanks for the help, Bill, on promoting that. We really do appreciate it.
Okay. All right.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and answering all these questions because I've had several calls on different things with regards to this. So,
all right, good stuff, Pat.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That is Pat Bescher with the Mohawk Valley Water Authority and Andrew Dominio, real estate agent extraordinaire, who got all of his questions answered.
And a little bit of a plug.
All right, let's see. Davey, Hobica's free money question of the day today is worth how much money?
$100.
Make it $150.
Okay.
$150. Wow, that's great. And what caller number are you going to be looking for? Because we're going to take a break and then go right into it. What caller number do you want?
6.
Caller number 6 right now. A chance for you to win from the Hobica Law Firm. Andrew and Joseph Hobica, 315-724-1600. 6th caller right now. Great question. Your chance to win is right now at WIBX.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tire's all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tire's all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
Want selection on your next mattress? At Mattress Express, we have Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, and more. No one else in New York State has all these brands under one roof, open 7 days a week.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Good morning. It is a Monday morning with so much in the news. We're going to find out, really, the vote, by the way, on the Stefanik thing, on the special election for NY21. The vote is today. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not know that.
They vote on this thing today. They're going to pass it. You know it. And that means it will delay the special election until June. Wow. Then it's going to be sit back and see what Trump does with at least Stefanik. And Stefanik may stay in Congress for another month or so until she has to, in order to be able to keep that vote in, because if she resigns, she'll lose. He will lose that vote in the House until June. So this is very, very interesting to watch this whole thing unfold.
It is indeed. Really quickly, we've got Lance and Lee chiming in earlier than usual this morning. Good morning, Lance. First, he said, I thought Galimi was going to be on this morning. We will work on having the mayor on at some point this week. He's in Albany for the New York Conference of Mayors. He is still pushing back on Katie Aiello's version of the audit. He says it's not true. The things that...
She claims that, and I don't want to put words in her mouth because she'll be doing a video about me. Someone close to her, because she won't talk to me, someone close to her claims that the audit, it was the original audit, and that the mayor didn't like it and wanted it redone. The mayor disputes that.
And this is not defending him. This is me.
No, I'm saying the mayor disputes that.
He's saying that in all the years he's listened to the show, he's never heard you say something that's not true before until what you said on Friday.
What I said, and Tom, Tom Highland is in from Utica Mac. Tom, I want you to be the judge. What I said was someone close to Katie Aiello said that's what happened. Am I telling a lie?
No,
I'm telling you, someone said that.
Yeah, right.
Who, by the way,
what he's saying is that is untrue.
I understand, but I'm not lying, and I'm not telling an untruth. I'm telling what someone close to her and close to this situation told me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I think I may know who it is now. Okay.
See, bada bing.
All right, and he also goes on to say...
The bell went off in Andrew's head.
Investigative reporting.
I'm going to tell you the bell went off in my head last night when Kanye West brought his wife out onto the red carpet.
He also continues this morning, Andrew, if Caitlin Conley needs somewhere to stay, I may have a spare room here in the town of Lee. Plus, no talk on the fishy demotion of Dave Short this morning. That did happen. Apparently, Dave Short was moved to Parks and Rec director.
I did not know that happened.
And then Mark Sokolowski, I apologize if I butchered his last name, but he's a good guy, and he's been promoted to DPW commissioner.
Well, congratulations, Mark.
Did I get it close?
Yes, Mark Sokolowski. He is a good guy.
This is a different Mark. Hello, Mark in Herkimer. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you.
I'm sorry you had to wait so long with us talking. It's awful.
He's like, get to it.
You put a microphone in front of us, all we freaking do is talk. It's terrible.
It's like it's our job.
Okay, we're going to give you have 7 seconds to get the answer, and it's worth $150 today. I see that. And we're going to have something on the mayor's issue coming up in contrast to what we were told and what the mayor said. I'll explain in a second. All right, Mark, enough of this. Where are you working today, Mark? You doing anything big?
No.
Good for you. I wish I was there. All right, you're going to have 7 seconds to answer this. If you answer correctly, you will win $150 from the Hobico Law Firm. Are you ready, Mark?
Yes, I am.
All right, here is your question. The Buddy Holly bass player was supposed to be on the plane that killed Buddy Holly and Richie Valens, but he gave up his seat to the Big Bopper. He later turned country. Who is this bass player? Who was this bass player? Ready, go.
I don't know.
Anybody? Just a good old boy.
Oh.
George
Hank
Strait?
Williams Jr.
Davey, not George Strait, not Hank Williams Jr.
Waylon Jennings.
Waylon
Jennings, of course.
Yep. Waylon Jennings was the bass player. Can you believe it? For Buddy Holly.
Wow.
And it was on that. It was this date in 1959. Today, 1959. And the plane went down years later.
How about this?
Years later, Don McLean wrote the song American Pie the day the music died.
Unfortunately, that tragic incident in D.C., then you saw over the weekend the
There was
Philadelphia
another, I
plane
know.
crash.
And then there was another.
Yesterday there was
Yeah.
some, what is going on?
Craziness, really. I can't wait to fly next. Okay, listen, Mark, we're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It is a $25 gift card, good at Aquavino, Babes, Taylor and the Cook, any of the Comets, even in the gift shop at the Comets. So stand by. We will mail that to you, all right?
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, Mark, thanks so much. Thanks for tolerating us. It ain't easy.
No problem.
It is
it don't
easy
come easy
at all. Before we go to Tom, I do want to go to Bill Morehouse, who's on the line. Bill is the comptroller.
Good morning. Good morning, Bill.
And wants. I'm assuming if you could pick up, I'm having a hard time on your speakerphone, but
sorry about that.
I know you're probably getting ready
to go to the doctor's appointment here.
Good morning, Bill.
Gentlemen.
Good morning. Thank you for taking the time to call in here.
Yeah, I was out snow blowing the neighborhood. I don't want anybody getting codes violations. So
okay.
Get out there and do the job.
Good man.
I knew that was you out there. Yes. All right.
That's my me time. I'm a little upset I didn't watch the Grammys because I caught you guys earlier. I pay a lot of money on OnlyFans,
listen,
I could have got it for free.
I'm sure that it'll be on that website and many others today because she's pure,
crazy,
completely top, bottom.
You don't need to spend a cent. You can find it online.
Behind, she is 100% naked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, she's a good-looking woman.
She is a wonderful, and Kanye West, it did seem really kind of creepy as he's directing her to take her fur jacket off, her fur coat off. So anyway,
he's certifiable anyhow. But.
He is, there's no doubt. All right, tell me.
Yes. A lot of people, I just want to say, a lot of people collect weird stuff. But when I heard KDIL collects door handles off cars, it was weird. I didn't understand.
But
is that true?
So he's referencing an altercation that occurred, and somehow from maybe an ex-boyfriend or what have you, a doorknob actually was torn off his car.
Lover's quarrel, allegedly.
That was all alleged here.
Hey, stuff happens.
It does.
Did that happen in Herkimer?
That's a very good question, Tom.
I read the news.
All
right, Bill. What's your take on what they're saying?
Here's exactly what happened. And, now that we have Trump in office, we can be fully
yes, you can say anything now.
We don't have to hide anything.
Nothing.
What happened is the auditors got the audit done. They brought it in. They slapped them on my chair. And I was getting ready to distribute them, and then they called me and said the management letter is incorrect. We have to redo them. And I said, okay, redo the management letter. They said, no, we have to redo the whole audit. I said, are the numbers changing? They said, no numbers are changing. We just have to redo it because of the management letter. So destroy those, and we'll get the new copies. I kept one so I could make sure the numbers were the same, and when we got the new ones, the numbers were the same. So nothing happened there.
What does Katie Aiello
what is she talking about on these videos?
She's telling people they can go here to see the audit. What does she have?
Yeah, well, I think she's looking at different numbers. She's looking at 1.1 and then 1.8. What people don't realize is fund balance includes a lot of revenues that are not collected yet.
Right.
Or seen revenues, and so fund balance isn't a pile of cash that I have. It just tells the position we're in as a city.
Okay,
and it's a good position, even though, I have a resolution right now to borrow $5 million from Bank of Utica if necessary, and that's just for cash flow purposes.
And that's a part of your fund balance?
No. Okay. This would just be money to borrow so we could pay bills.
Okay.
Because we don't get state aid till March because of the way our budget goes.
Right.
We run a little behind in cash, but the city's in good shape. And, I'm a lame duck comptroller, but I'm going to leave it in good shape, and I'm going to leave the office in good shape.
You are notorious for dropping breaking news. Are you saying you are not running for re-election?
Well, I would if I could, but I'm termed out.
Oh, you'll be termed out. So not so much breaking news. Cracking news. It's cracking news.
No.
Yeah.
But that'll leave me time to come co-host the show with you. So.
That's listen. I can't wait for that day. We need a good Biden Democrat on the program
to balance.
Hey, he's the sharpest tack in the box, that Joe Biden.
Yeah, I know. Oh Lordy.
So let me just get this straight. So a lot of people are saying, and I just want to clarify here, that the audit that she's talking about, or the number she's using, people say that that's from Palmieri's last budget. That essentially she's putting out their information from an audit that's not Galimi's budget.
This audit would be Palmieri's anyway. When you think about it, wouldn't it be a part of Palmieri's anyway?
Right. I think the numbers can be confusing. Audits are confusing. The auditors are coming on February 19th to sit with the council and answer any questions they have.
All right.
And that'll clarify in her mind. I just think Katie's a rebel rouser. She likes to stir the drink. I tell the mayor it's just noise, ignore it. But the mayor he can't ignore anything. You know,
he
fires
doesn't.
right back and gets
No, he
online.
doesn't. Yeah, he does.
He just can't.
Do you ever say to the mayor, "Hey, mayor, stay off Facebook"? Anything like that?
Yes, I tell him, just ignore that stuff.
I know.
It's just noise. It's background noise. And do you really think, Bill? Do you really think any mayor, besides Louis LaPolla, any mayor would raise taxes if they didn't have to? I mean, come on. We don't raise taxes because we don't have to. We don't hide money somewhere.
Right.
We're just running a city.
So
unfortunately, you know, our property, where we get our revenue is the people.
And you
That's
stand
the
by
main part of our revenue.
you stand by the fact that tax increase was definitely needed.
Absolutely, and we're bad news, but we're going to have another tax increase.
Okay.
You know, we got to run a city, and the mayor Gallim is trying to do it right. You know, Robbie was really cheap, and he cut a lot of expenses. He did a good job keeping it down, but that hurt the city as far as getting the job done. And
this goes back
having things like the skating rink for the people. You know,
this goes back to
to come here and love it.
This goes back to the incremental increases they don't blow you away, and it prevents something like this from happening.
Well, yeah, when you have a 0% tax increase, there's no money. If you go 1.5%, and let's say it's $700,000 we collect off that 1.5%, over 10 years, Bill, that's $7 million.
Yeah.
It never comes back. So, you know, you have to have, even if it's small 1-2%, you have to have tax increases. It's very important. One of the problems we have, Bill, is we haven't had an increase in state aid in 20 years.
Right.
I mean, give me a break. We're getting the same state aid we got 20 years ago. How does that make sense?
I want to throw this out there. I have someone who I think might be close to Katie in this case. Borrowing money for annual cash flow is not optimal, not smart. How do you respond to that?
No, the auditors hate it. Absolutely. It's not smart. But you do what you do to run a city. Would you rather have people wait, 80, 60 days to get their money? No, it's not smart. You don't want to borrow money to run your own budget at home.
Right.
And for the record, you haven't borrowed that money yet. You're on standby too if you need.
Case. Yes, it's just sitting there. We have a good relationship with Bank of Utica. If we need some cash flow money, we'll get it. We'll pay it back in 30 days. So it's not an issue where we're broke.
All right, Bill Morehouse, thank you. We appreciate it. I hope we can talk to you when this when this audit does come out.
Happy to do it, guys.
And then one last question: how much are you guys going to recommend for a tax increase this next budget?
Well, I told the mayor he should raise it probably 10%, but it's probably going to be in the 4% range.
Okay,
4 or 5%.
And I think that's happening Wednesday. I think the budget presentation's happening Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is, and it's tough to run a city. And like I say, we get our main revenue from the people, and it's unfortunate. But until the state aid gets increased, or until we have some other revenue source, such as transport with the ambulances or something, this is what we got to do. So just running the city. The city's running good. We're in good financial shape. We got a great mayor who loves this city. And I couldn't have been happier to serve 12 years for this great city.
One last thing. I'll leave you with this, Bill. The person who asked about
the Kansas City Chiefs, please beat them.
Oh, please. Bill, we couldn't be more on the same side with that one. He's right about not increasing taxes. It now deprives you of money, which actually, in the end, will compound your loss. So somebody agreeing with you there. All right?
There you have it.
Thank you, Bill. We appreciate it. Have a great day. Bill Morehouse. And in studio right now, another issue going on, man. We're just knocking down the issues like you would.
It is a busy Monday.
I'm sorry, like you would, not me, in a bowling alley, knocking down pins. Andrew, this mid-mic, if you could take care of that for me, that would be awesome. Tom Highland is in from Utica Mac. Tom, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
So, Friday, you have a press conference.
We did.
You did. I'm saying. You had everybody there, Griffo,
Button John Miller,
Marianne, Brian Miller, and then municipalities as well. Everybody there saying this has got to be dealt with.
That's right.
This electric mandate for you specifically prevents you from selling where these buyers who are looking to buy a big truck, a Mack truck, are going out of state.
That won't even work.
Okay, that
won't even work. First, I'd like to thank the town of Marcy for all the help in setting this up. Jim and Kevin from the town, great assistance with everything we needed to set up. It was actually Senator Griffo's press conference, and we hosted it. And then also the United County Highway Superintendents Association has been giving us great support with this. So the problem is we have a huge disconnect between the New York State DEC and what's actually happening. I got a letter from the DEC last week. It says the New York State DEC disagrees with assertions that the Advanced Clean Truck is being implemented prematurely, and that it is also impossible for the trucking industry to comply with Advanced Clean Truck.
Wasn't it the DEC that recommended a moratorium just a few months ago?
Only for municipalities. So there you go. Okay,
but there was a letter that was sent to...
Yes, it was for municipalities.
Yeah. So they exempted the municipalities because they realized that we couldn't comply with it.
And that wouldn't include school districts either.
That's right.
Okay, is this mandate, I have somebody asking, is the mandate federal, ultimately federal, or is it state?
It's state.
Okay, completely state.
Completely state.
Okay.
Yeah, one signature with the pen from the governor can stop all this.
All right.
And, I'm trying to figure out a way to get people to understand that this is like building a rocket and sending it up with only one stage in the rocket.
Yeah.
So where's it going to go? How's it going to get there? Where's it going to land? I mean, there's no preparedness for this.
So I find it very interesting that the DEC is saying for municipalities, this is not feasible, but for the rest of you, private business, you'll figure it out.
Well, in December, I was on a Zoom call with DEC from Western New York. They had the feed and dairy groups on there. I was in the background. And I've told this before, so some people have heard this, but I asked a question. I said, how are you going to help dealerships with the financial struggles they're going to have not being able to comply with this? The response from one of the DEC representatives was, unfortunately, truck dealerships are collateral damage.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay?
That's a good thing to say.
I was not the only one on the call. There was another dealer on the call who heard exactly the same thing.
Oh, my God.
And I will tell you, and I'm saying this with a lot of strength behind me, we are not going to be collateral damage. We're going to figure out how to get this message across so people understand what's really going on here.
Yeah.
I don't understand why there is such a fast push. Why are they pushing this because it's so premature?
Yeah. School districts are saying the same thing.
Exactly.
But even here's where you really can look at who's in the right and who's not. National Grid says we are not prepared in New York State to handle this by 2030, by whatever the numbers they're throwing out there.
Correct.
We're not ready.
But for you, it's in January 1st, 2025.
Yeah, it's underway.
It's underway.
So you have to explain.
You've already seen it.
Explain what happens. You, in order to sell a gas, because you can still sell a gas-operated
diesel truck.
So a diesel truck, you can sell a diesel truck, but before you do, you must.
Well, you have to back up. Okay.
Don't you have to sell so many electric trucks?
I'd rather say it like this. I cannot sell any diesel trucks unless I sell an electric truck first. So what electric truck.
If no one buys an electric truck?
Then I can't sell any diesel trucks.
That just doesn't make sense.
I can only
this is
sell
not allowing
only to municipalities, which they have an exemption.
So that has helped you this year, as far as
that's
your
all we
business.
have though. It's only municipal sales.
Only sold municipal.
That's right.
Trucks this year.
That's right.
Wow.
I have an idea. I think you got that little mini Mack truck that that's electric.
It's not enough. It doesn't have a credit, Bill.
It doesn't.
We need a credit.
Like I said, you sell one of these for $400.
So we were thinking of buying an electric truck and putting it out back because nobody wants it and it can't be supported. It's $430,000. I would get 10 diesel truck sales from it. So if I added $43,000 to each one of these 10 trucks, I'd recoup my money. The problem is that customers aren't going to pay this. Why should they have to pay for something that the state is pushing us into?
This amazes me because can you wait through the break?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. On the other side, it doesn't make any sense, and I want you to explain to me how it does. And my guess is you're going to agree. We break. News next.
Warner Sales and Service, building relationships, building trust.
This is Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers. Hustler mowers are designed to be maintenance and service-friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. Come see us at Warner Sales and Service on the Greenway New London Road in Rome, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
easycater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Anthony Constantino. He's a local boy, a businessman, and a job creator, not a politician. He's the CEO of Sticker Mule. When he put the country's largest Vote for Trump sign on the roof of his building, the Democrat mayor threatened to put him in jail. But Anthony Constantino stood strong for free speech and Donald Trump. He refused to take down the sign. Now he's running for Congress to fill the seat being vacated by Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Constantino will fight to put our missile defense at Fort Drum, to protect our apple and dairy farmers, and to bring jobs and affordable housing back to upstate New York. Urge your Republican and Conservative Party leaders to support Anthony Constantino in the upcoming special election.
I'm Anthony Constantino, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Constantino for Congress.
The President's Day sales are on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, Stearns & Foster, Purple, and Puffy. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
He'll talk to Canadian and Mexican leaders today. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but President Trump says,
I don't expect anything very dramatic.
Ahead of his plan to impose tariffs, Fox's Jackie Heinrich reports from the White House.
Mexico, Canada, and China account for more than 40% of imports into the U.S. But unless President Trump changes his mind, which he says that he won't, tomorrow he'll be imposing a 25% tariff on all goods from Canada and Mexico, 10% on Canadian energy, and 10% on all goods from China to respond to illegal immigration and drug trafficking.
Both Canada and Mexico are vowing to retaliate, so the president says Americans may feel some pain as Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer warns the trade war is going to cost us.
If you want to go after foreign countries, don't do it at the expense of the American consumer who's going to pay more. That's the number one thing people want, prices to go down. The tariffs make prices go up.
And when the president spoke at Joint Base Andrews last night, returning from Florida, he also talked about a shakeup at the U.S. Agency for International Development.
Well, it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out.
USAID has instructed its staff not to go to headquarters today after Elon Musk, in charge of the new government Department of Efficiency, took over USAID's computer systems, putting 50 senior staffers with the agency on administrative leave. After all the immigration raids since the Trump return to the White House, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will go to the southern border today. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's also gone to Texas, telling Fox,
my job is to uphold the law, follow federal law when it comes to immigration in our systems and deporting criminals.
It was a big night for music. They handed out the Grammys.
The big winners were Kendrick Lamar, who took home 5 awards, including Record and Song of the Year for Not Like Us, and Beyonce, who took home the night's biggest awards, Best Country Album and Album of the Year.
That's Michelle Polino. America's listening to Fox News.
You've likely heard about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too, with their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. An easy, affordable way to see how it could literally change your life. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally, developed by doctors. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. Trying it couldn't be easier with their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. And it just takes a phone call. 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, every day you feel better is a day you live better. Try Relief Factor's 3-week quick start today. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Crews are back in the Potomac River this morning to recover more wreckage of the American Airlines regional plane and the helicopter that crashed into it last week. And they'll also look for more bodies. So far, 55 of the 67 people killed have been recovered.
The Unified Command is continuing its work to learn more about why a passenger plane and a military helicopter collided last week near Reagan National Airport. John Donnelly, D.C. Fire and EMS chief, said barges will be set up to lift sections of the plane from the Potomac.
While that's going on, the local teams will continue to search down the shorelines and around the river to make sure that we're getting all the debris that's out there.
The NTSB is continuing its effort to get what information it can from the black boxes that were aboard the helicopter and the airplane to learn more about the moments before the collision. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
In Philadelphia, they've also recovered black box recorders from the small plane that crashed Friday night 1 minute after takeoff. An air ambulance carrying 6 Mexicans back to that country, including a mother and her daughter, who had just gotten treatment at Shriners Hospital. All 6 on the plane were killed, along with someone in a car when the plane hit. 22 others on the ground were injured. Now to the U.S. Capitol.
The House and Senate will continue work this week on a top-line spending number to fund the government past a funding deadline in March. It's the first week back for the House since the GOP retreat in Florida, where Republicans are working to get on the same page for a bill that would include President Trump's agenda items on border security, taxes, and energy. Meanwhile, the Senate is expected to vote this week on President Trump's nominee to lead the Department of Energy, Chris Wright. Other confirmation votes are expected, including Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
On Wall Street, a Trump tariff sell-off is brewing as markets drop in Europe and Asia. Dow futures are down almost 700 points. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 8:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now it's 29 degrees with cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Onondaga County Sheriff Toby Shelley says neither he nor his office will detain undocumented migrants for ICE officials. ICE uses detainers to get custody of individuals so they can be deported. Shelley says the policy has been in effect since he took office in 2023 and that he swore an oath to protect constitutional rights. President Trump's administration has been cracking down on immigration since returning to power last month. A New York State appellate court has overturned...
By the way, you should mention, we'll speak with Sheriff Rob Mashel,
yes,
who's involved with that. And as a matter of fact, one of those who was released from Ithaca, who is a dangerous criminal, that's alleged by the government, and I believe confirmed by Sheriff Mashel. He'll be on later in this hour to discuss that.
Yes.
By the way,
Sheriff Shelley's protecting his constitutional rights.
That person is currently in the Oneida County Jail.
A New York State appellate court has overturned the first-degree manslaughter conviction of Caitlin Conley in regards to the death of her boss, Mary Louise Yoder. Conley had been sentenced to 23 years in prison. As a result, Conley will be released, and the Oneida County District Attorney's Office is expected to retain the option to retry the case. The appeal was based on evidence that was inadmissible in the first trial from Conley's personal cell phone, but was inadvertently used in the second trial. According to the decision, the warrant issued for the seizure of Conley's cell phone did not permit prosecutors from searching the contents of the phone. In the decision, the appellate court ruled Conley's first lawyer, Christopher Pelley, provided ineffective counsel because he failed to challenge the evidence obtained by the prosecution from Conley's cell phone. An Oneida man was killed Friday in a crash in the town of Vernon. The crash happened along Prospect Street around 7 p.m. Friday, according to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. Officials say 48-year-old Jeremiah Kraft was pronounced dead at Oneida Health. They say Kraft moved from his lane unsafely and hit a tree head-on. And Jimmy Carter has won a posthumous Grammy Award. Carter was nominated in the audiobook, narration, and storytelling recording category. This is the fourth win for the late former president out of 10 nominations. Jason Carter, the late politician's grandson, accepted the award in his place. Carter won for Last Sunday in Plains, a centennial celebration, which features recordings of his last Sunday school lessons at his hometown church in Plains, Georgia. It is 8:08. Your forecast is from Ray Stajic.
Going to be a little slick around town this morning, and it looks like we will see some rain and snow showers around today. Not looking for much in the way of accumulating snow and or rain. But I think that rain chance will be best into the afternoon as we get up near 40. Tonight, some rain showers, mid-20s, changing on over to snow showers late. Could get a little icy for Tuesday morning. There'll be some snow showers around Tuesday in the upper 20s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, it's cloudy and 29 at 8:08. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43 local contractors. The Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles have arrived in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. The two conference champions touched down in the Big Easy yesterday and will square off for the Super Bowl title this Sunday from the Caesars Superdome. The NFC notched its third consecutive victory over the AFC in the Pro Bowl games. Yawn. Detroit Lions quarterback Jared Goff and Minnesota Vikings cornerback Byron Murphy earned MVP honors and helped guide the NFC to a 76-63 win over the AFC in Sunday's flag football game. There was a huge blockbuster trade in the NBA over the weekend as Anthony Davis went from the Lakers to the Mavericks in exchange for Luka Doncic. The Jets continue to fill out their coaching staff as the Green and White are hiring Scott Turner as their passing game coordinator and Charles London as their quarterbacks coach. The Raiders are poaching their next offensive coordinator from this year's national champion. ESPN reports Chip Kelly is returning to the NFL to call plays under new head coach Pete Carroll. The 61-year-old helped the Buckeyes win the national title in the same role and was head coach at UCLA for the previous 6 seasons. A Super Bowl winning quarterback is downplaying rumors about reuniting with his former head coach. Russell Wilson told reporters at the Pro Bowl he's focused on working out a deal with the Steelers and is not thinking about joining Pete Carroll's Raiders. The 36-year-old said Pete is going to be a great coach and is great at what he does. Chase Elliott took advantage of pole position and brought home the checkered flag in the NASCAR Cup Series season opener. And Rory McIlroy is celebrating his 27th Tour victory after finishing atop the leaderboard at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. McIlroy won the tournament by 2 strokes after finishing 21 under par.
Okay, coming right up, I want to continue with Tom Hyland from Utica Mac. We have a question, and you'll get a chance to answer this on the way back. Please ask your guest, didn't the exclusion of municipalities actually hurt your business? We'll get your answer on that one, Tom. Coming right up when we come right back at WIBX.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
Power and power equipment, White's Farm Supply.
At Kubota, we want to help you deliver a job done right. That's why we want you to know that new Kubota inventory is arriving daily. You have work to do. We have the reliable, durable, and versatile lineup to help you do it. Visit us at whitesfarmsupply.com.
We're the power and power equipment, White's Farm Supply.
I went in for a regular prostate screening, and my lab results showed my PSA level were elevated.
We repeated the lab test, and the second test came back elevated too. We did a biopsy, and the biopsy showed cancer in certain areas of Philip's prostate.
Dr. Ba performed a prostatectomy at Wayne Hospital using robotic surgery to remove the cancer.
We were able to cure him with smaller incisions, and he had a quick recovery.
Since the surgery, all my PSA level has been normal. I am proof that early detection can prevent something far worse.
I had been lifting something heavy, felt a tinge in my back. I also had some shortness of breath, but thought it was due to what I figured was some kind of muscle pull. I was wrong.
The episodes of pain that Ray was experiencing were actually small heart attacks. The Wayne Emergency Department was able to provide immediate life-saving care to Ray's heart.
If it wasn't for the amazing team at Wynn, I might not be here at all. I feel indebted to everyone who helped make Wynn Hospital a reality so I can get the immediate care I needed right when I needed it.
Thank you for giving my daddy back home.
Uncertainty, the unknown,
These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Registration for America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk is now open, and they're looking to break fundraising and race records. The event returns to Utica University on March 8th, so sign up now for the 18-mile, 10-mile, or 3-mile race at uticaheartrunwalk.org. Join the American Heart Association's mission in raising money to improve and promote heart health in the Mohawk Valley. This year's goal is to raise $1 million. Sign up to race or donate now at uticaheartrunwalk.org.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Okay, portions of the program brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. And you can start the year off debt-free in 2025. Transfer rates as low as 3.99% APR for 12 months, or consolidate high-interest debt into one manageable payment with their personal loans. And you don't stop there. GPO has partnered with Balance. It's a program to offer you free virtual or in-person sessions with financial advisors. Together, they'll help you create personalized plans, a personalized plan to help you take control of your finances. Why wait? Let GPO help you fresh here in 2025. Go to their website, gpofcu.com, or stop by any branch today. Debt-free, stress-free. Start your journey with GPO today. Subject to credit approval, membership eligibility required. Rates and terms based on credit worthiness. Balance transfer rates reverts back to normal card rate after the 12th month. Contact GPO for more information. In studio right now is Tom Hyland with Utica Mac. Tom, good morning.
Good morning again.
All right, so I was asking this question from a listener. Didn't the exclusion of municipalities actually hurt your business? It seems cities and counties can raise the money a lot quicker by a tax increase and blame it on that, whereas a private business doesn't have that option. I'm sure the city of Utica could just lump in another 2 or 3% just to justify like a lot of their other spending.
Well, I'll stick to the
Is that a loaded question?
I'll stick to the basic
Obviously,
question.
yeah.
Does the exemption hurt my business? No, it does not hurt my business.
It's giving you a lifeline, a little bit of a lifeline.
Yes, it is. I am against the exemption because in principle it's wrong. I mean, if they, being DEC, says that we have everything in place to handle electric vehicles and the infrastructure's here, then why are they giving an exemption?
And it doesn't just hurt you. Let's say there's, Joe Smith's trucking company, right? And they want to buy a new truck and that's not electric. They can't buy it from you or your competitor or anybody in New York State.
No, they cannot.
It doesn't just, the collateral damage isn't just Utica Mac or truck dealers.
Just Utica
it's
Mac.
Small businesses
it's
or
gonna
companies.
Trickle right down to the consumer is where it's going to end
Here's
up.
the other part of this, right? Like everything
Anybody
else.
that's not a municipality.
I hate to say, but this is very much like the tariffs. It's very similar.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be paid, and the big companies, these big manufacturers, aren't paying for it.
So why is there a rush? I just can't figure this out.
Here's the thing that really bothers me is in government, and this is typical of government, is that we tend to, I'll say we because it's we the people, isn't it? Well, it's supposed to be, apparently not. But we tend to, in government, pick something. Meanwhile, let's look at all of the other waste that doesn't fall in line with this mandate. Just think about it. All the other waste in this state, the money that is spent in this state, the pollution that is created in this state, and they choose this as the end all. This is going to change everything. When in reality, it's just a drop in the bucket.
It is so small. Senator Griffo said it's
so small.
0.04% of global impact.
Meanwhile,
New
this
York
often
State.
happens when a governor hops on their helicopter or hops on a plane to fly somewhere and all of these things when maybe there's a cheaper way, like put on a knapsack and walk the distance.
Or go on a train.
Or go on an electric helicopter.
That's right. Where's your electric helicopter?
Yeah, where are those?
So I do find that it becomes, and then they treat you as if, what are you, stupid? I mean, we're saving the environment here.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
are you really?
So Assemblywoman
Button-Shahn
set up a call just with me and with 5 DEC people
Yeah.
and her. And I went through all the points that I'm talking about today. And I offered to bring a new truck to Albany. I told them I could be there in an hour and a half. And I said, you would not believe the technology in these trucks, the collision avoidance, how clean they are. It can be sitting there running and you wouldn't even know it. And I said, I can be there in an hour and a half. Would anyone like to see this truck? And there was dead silence on the phone. Then one of the DEC reps said, I'm sorry, I have to take another phone call now.
Wow.
And Marianne pushed him on it. She said, Mr. Highland just offered to bring a truck to show you. And they just would not give an answer. It's sad. It's sad.
Well,
how are we being represented?
We've seen legislation in Albany that doesn't come from the experts in
Well,
like
you're not being represented. So at least your representative is on fighting for you.
They are.
But you have an agency that basically has been given the green light. They can do whatever they want.
There's an agenda there, and they don't really care what happens.
They don't care. It's not about representation. And oh, by the way, they don't have to be reelected.
It's typical, like with everything else. Like, you know, for instance, we've talked to Sheriff Mayfield about it. When bail reform went into place, they didn't consult district attorneys or sheriff's offices or different sheriffs across the state. They just said, well, we think this is a good idea. They're not talking to you.
Can I just say that this is an example, though? With bail reform, at least there are a group of the majority of legislators in New York City and downstate who have some connection to the prison system, most likely someone they know has been wronged in the prison system. At least they have I believe they're wrong, don't get me wrong, but at least they have an answer. When they give you the reason why they're doing this, you're like, well, I can see why they're so passionate. Here, you can't even see that. It ignores the real science. It ignores the real data.
Well, right, but then again, it's okay. We're still driving gas-powered cars, and but the trucks, they're the big culprits.
The heck with the driving force, which is the consumer.
Right.
What do they want? I need to make it very clear that Senator Griffo, Assemblymember Button-Shahn, and Assemblymember Miller have been very supportive of this cause and this fight. And it was their press conference. They're the ones who wanted to bring more attention to this. Senator Griffo has a bill that's in the Rules Committee right now, and Assembly members Button-Shahn and Miller have one in, it says committee on the website. You can go to the websites for each and look at it. And it explains what's going on. And they want a pause to this law. They think that a pause will give us time to catch up. I don't see a pause helping at all. If we are 2 years further down the road, we're still not going to have the infrastructure. We're still not going to have the technology with the vehicles. We're still not going to have the support that we need.
Let me ask you this. If electric vehicles, electric Mack trucks were all the rage, the demand was incredible. And you can't keep them in stock. I mean, every time you get one in stock, you sell it. You're an entrepreneur. You're a businessman. You'd have no problem with that, I'm assuming.
I have no problem with electric vehicles at all.
At all.
If that is a technology, then I'm all for it.
The problem with electric vehicles that you have is that you get them in and you can't sell them.
That's correct.
And that should not be denied. They should not ignore that in Albany. This is a major message. Ultimately, I believe that some form, whether it's electric or some other technology down the road, is going to take over fossil fuels. I believe it's coming.
I agree.
It's
also,
coming. And
we are all for clean.
And it might not be electric, by the way. There are other technologies
Hydrogen
out there
is a big one.
that might take over.
Yeah.
However, you got to allow the market. I mean, you can incentivize, but this is nuts, I feel. Anything you want to end this with?
Well, I'll just give you an example of something that one of the other dealers told me. The Peterbilt dealer had 2 electric tractors in Rochester, and they had a customer in Albany that wanted to see the tractors. They had to put them on a trailer to get them from Rochester to Albany. Not only wouldn't the trucks make it with the charge, but there's no place in between to charge them.
That's the problem. Yeah. Listen, I have a hybrid. I like to go to certain places, plug in, and I save gas. And that's pretty cool. But there's never a time on the throughway where my wife and I would be like, let's spend 2 hours here at the throughway exit and charge the vehicle
and
then
sleep.
And then we'll get back on.
I saw the Amazon trucks at the Price Chopper in North Utica. They had to plug into the electric because Amazon's got a couple of the electric ones now, and that's why your package is delayed.
Those are very light. And by the way, speaking of Amazon, we got our same-day delivery back. Before COVID, you used to be able to get same-day delivery with Amazon. We got it the other day. I had the option. I'm like, click on it, see what happens. I had the package before 8 o'clock at night. That was pretty cool. Great for brick and mortar, by the way. Sarcastic. Anything you want to end with?
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about this.
We'll see what happens. We'll see where this goes.
Thank you.
Lance and Lee is asking, how many large dealerships are there that sell like Mack trucks in New York City?
In New York City, I don't know. There's 167 dealerships across New York State, from car dealerships that sell the diesel pickup truck, the heavy version of the diesel pickup trucks, all the way to Class 8 heavy-duty diesels.
Okay.
We're all in the same boat.
I mean, and to show that at the press conference, you had competitors.
Every single one of my
place.
competition was at Utica Mack.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Hyland with Utica Mack, right next door to us. 824 at WIBX.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Hi, I'm Jim Bono, your guide to all things winter happening right here in Herkimer County. Looking for adventure? Hit the slopes at Macaulay Mountain. Explore hundreds of miles of scenic, well-groomed snowmobile trails. Or try ice fishing, snowshoeing, and cross-country skiing. And did you know that Herkimer County has a website where you can find all the events happening around town?
Herkimer County, where history, commerce, and beauty collide. It's all happening here this winter. Visit herkimercountyny.gov and make your winter unforgettable.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Hey, it's a new year, new Mazda sales event that is going on right now. They've increased their inventory with over 150 new Mazdas available. And Ricky Z says, come in and check out the new lease, Mazda lease. You can enjoy 0%, 0.9% APR financing on the new 2025 Mazdas like the CX-30s, CX-5s, 50s, 70s, CX-90s. See Rick or anybody at the dealership for details. As Rick says, come in, let's make your deal on a new Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer service and customer satisfaction. It's Steve Bonnie Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Andrew, I'm going to let you do the introductions here over there, and I'll get myself settled in.
Well, it's my understanding this week is Heart Week.
Yes.
And we have Colleen Lefevre from the Masonic Medical Research Institution and Dr. Matthew And I apologize. Your last name is Nestoriak.
Nestoriak, yeah. That's correct.
You got it.
Bill taught me you got to plow right through this. He's an associate professor of biomedical research and translational medicine. And we have seen some really cutting edge, wonderful technology and treatments come out of MMRI. And so they're here to talk about all
basically
of that.
heart research. So talk about what's being done over there.
Yeah, absolutely. So February is Heart Month. And so, like you guys said, we do heart research. And so we started in 1958, mostly on cardiovascular research. So we do heart failure, thrombosis, arrhythmias, congenital heart diseases, all those things. And then from those heart research categories, we also do neurocognitive and autoimmune. So we do lupus, PTSD, autism.
Wow.
Yeah. But so.
What about Sjogren's syndrome? Are you familiar with that?
No.
Another autoimmune.
Okay.
I only asked that because my wife has it. So there are a lot of those autoimmunes.
Yes, there are a lot of them.
That can affect organs.
Yes, absolutely.
Including the heart.
Yes.
So.
Yep. But so every 34 seconds, somebody dies of cardiovascular disease. So that is why it's really important for the research that we do. And so Matt over here is one of our associate professors, like you guys said, and he focuses on cardiovascular disease research. So I'm going to let him talk about his new publication.
Sure.
So tell us, Matt, what you have.
Yeah, sure. So my work focuses mostly, so I can back up and say I've been doing cardiovascular research for about the last 15 years or so. I've been at MMRI almost 8 months now. I just moved from the University of Louisville, but my work has focused.
And if I could, MMRI, so that people don't get confused with MRI, it is Masonic Medical Research Institution. So nothing to do with MRI in particular. However, what you're doing kind of does, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as Colleen mentioned, heart disease is the #1 killer. And so, we are trying to understand some of the many factors that contribute to the risk for cardiovascular disease. My work focuses specifically on how the heart basically communicates to blood vessels to control the amount of blood it receives, because this is something that commonly goes wrong in many different forms of cardiovascular disease. So that's really, what my work has focused on, and trying to understand, when we think of some of the bad things that you can do, with different lifestyle factors that contribute to higher risk of cardiovascular disease, understand really how the body is, handling these different types of stressors to contribute to this higher risk, but also try to understand, some of the good things as well. So what types of things, we all know exercise is good for the heart.
Well, it could be like reading a good book or seeing a grandchild play or those types of things. Trigger good positive
control of stress. Health. Lowering stress. And there's a lot of, social interactions for whatever reason, people that are more, interactive with the community. There are some benefits on an epidemiological level, right?
As my wife says, drink more alcohol. It's good for your heart.
That's not what she said. That is not what she said.
Everything in moderation, right?
Yeah, I guess.
But that's really what we're trying to understand. My work focuses specifically on, different types of cells in the heart communicating with each other to tell really the blood vessels that the heart needs more oxygen at any given moment, because when you're sleeping and the heart is really not working very hard, relatively speaking, the amount of oxygen that's getting extracted from the blood that's being delivered is already very high.
Yeah.
So when you go to exercise or you're stressed, your heart starts to pump harder and faster, there's a need for more oxygen, right? And for that to happen, the blood vessels need to know to dilate, basically to increase the size of the pipe, deliver more blood. And really, it's this balance that can become affected in many different disease states. And over time, what happens is the heart doesn't just shut down immediately. It actually will adapt. And that's when you go to the doctor and you see things like, your ejection fraction may be down, and there's this remodeling that occurs. And so that's really what we're trying to understand is how those things happen.
Well, if you've ever gone through a stress test, you know exactly what you're describing.
Right. Exactly.
And they aren't meant to be easy, the stress test.
Right.
And boy, can they be really. Have you ever done one?
No.
I thought I was
Fortunately,
going to die.
I've not had to do that.
But the
yet.
reality is they're measuring to see if your heart can handle that. And that becomes very important. What are some of the things that I think we all know, probably, or have all heard, but some of those things that we shouldn't be doing that are those habits that really prohibit heart health?
Well, so if you go on AHA's website, there's the Life's Essential 8 that they tell you, and there's some really obvious ones, right?
Yeah.
Like avoid smoking. We've known that for years. Try to be physically active. And there's 8 of these on there, and then some of the others that we know less about, like getting a good night's sleep consistently, right?
Right.
So we know that that's a good thing for your heart because, we know that there's these associations between, irregular sleep or poor sleep. That's leading to
I feel
problems.
personally attacked.
Yeah.
This morning.
But the key thing is we don't know why.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what is going on in your body when you don't get a good night's sleep that's adversely affecting your heart? That's a major question in the field right now.
Well, I'm assuming with something like sleep apnea, your heart is being starved of oxygen.
Right.
Not
only that, but because it's being starved, your body, your brain and your brainstem tells your heart to work harder to keep oxygen flowing to basically your brain and other tissues of your body, because the oxygen in your blood is lower, and that is a stress on your heart, right? And it's a form of stress that's different from exercise stress, that instead of it being beneficial, now it's somehow adversely affecting the heart.
So I want to ask your thoughts on the research that's being done here and throughout the world that has really changed. It's changed our lives in the last 25 years, in the last 50 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So MMRI actually was part of conducting and making the pacemaker. And so when you think about that, that is something that every day is being put into thousands of people.
And the bovine transplant too was using that as a valve. I think some of that research came from MMRI as well, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, but so the research we're doing, I mean, we talk about it all the time in the building. The research that they are doing today might not be seen for 10 years in the hospitals every single day, but in 10 years, that's going to be something that is used every single day. And if we don't do it now, we're always going to be behind. So if they never started the pacemaker back then, people wouldn't have that today. And I said, it's being put into thousands of people every single day. So the research that's being conducted all around the world is needed. Otherwise, we're just going to unfortunately just die. We don't want that.
It's really the only way.
Nobody wants that.
As you said, Bill, like 25 years ago, if you think a little bit further back, like 100 years ago from today, which is really in human history, just a blink of an eye.
Yes. Yeah.
How healthcare was back then versus what it is now. That's all because of support for research.
Well, over the weekend, I wasn't feeling well, and I went to my doctor. He did a blood drain and just got a lot of that bad blood out of my system. That's really, when you go back 150 years, that's what they thought.
Right.
That was one of it was normal, I guess. And then way back. But I do want to ask, we mentioned 25 years, 50 years, 100 years. What is AI doing for you guys at Masonic? And do you feel, what are your thoughts on it? And because everything we're reading makes us believe that we are about to accelerate advancement like we've never seen before in the history of the world.
I can take, So it's a complicated question. So AI is, could mean many different things. The way I view AI in research is it's a very powerful tool. And I know I've been to certain meetings where they have more of a clinical focus and they're doing things like AI assisted echo reads so that it takes kind of some of the burden, but also increases the accuracy from, the way it's been done in the past and probably makes diagnoses faster. But on the research level,
to me, that's where I'm kind of going was where it's being able to go through and solve problems that quicker than we were able to solve them before.
Right, and maybe even identify problems that we didn't even realize were important, questions to be asking.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And how much did COVID, we kept reading a lot during COVID, the vaccine and the work that was done on the vaccine, how that was going to advance us medically in terms of research. Has that, did we walk away with anything that is positive from that? So this would have been the research to advance the vaccine. And maybe this has nothing to do with you, and it's a bad question.
Well, yeah, with vaccine.
Wouldn't be my first, by the way.
With vaccine development, I think, I remember, I'm a bit removed from that and what I do, but I think I do remember, that was supposed to be a big advancement in vaccine development in particular. But on the research level, there are, I think, important lessons that were learned from that whole thing, and just the way we approach and tackle problems now, can be there. I think every year, there's more efficiency in research than there was in the previous year, in terms of, the speed of answering questions. I mean, we move a lot faster now than we did 20 years ago on things. And so I think that could be part of it, but I think it's more of a, because of the larger effort and just where we are now.
Well, the world came together, right?
Right.
And that, especially where we are right now, seems like almost an impossible thing. What do you want people to know during this month and right now about Masonic?
I would say that just remember your heart is a very important piece of your body, and so do everything you need to do to stay active. But if you do feel that you care for other people's hearts and things like that, remember that research is here, and in order for our research to continue, we need support from the community, and we are really trying to get our name out there to the community and make sure people know that we are right here in Utica. We have a research institute right here who is doing incredible things and is making sure that our children have a better life than we do.
And then to take us out, so the to end, what would people be shocked at knowing that you guys are working on right now?
That you can share.
You have. Now that you can share. Good point.
There's a lot that we can't share, but I would...
No one listens. Don't worry about it.
Trying to think of the most shocking.
The most shocking. I would say, so Dr. Jason McCarthy, he was able to put a nanoparticle into your spleen, and your spleen goes directly to your heart. And so he is now able to put that drug into your spleen. It goes into your heart, and it reduces the size of a scar after your heart attack.
Wow.
And most people don't think that your spleen goes to your heart, but that's one of the first places.
Wow.
It is, I mean, just when you look at when you talk to somebody who just went through a bypass surgery or something, and they're like, yeah, they went in down here, they went in through a vent. I mean, that didn't, the phrase, they are going to open me up, that's what it used to be. That's what used to happen.
Right.
And how amazing what is being done today. It's just incredible.
Right. And some of the tools, for different types of arrhythmias, like AFib, the way that's treated now, and different types of ablations, and the sophistication of the tools that are available now, it's just really incredible.
All right, well, it's awesome. I'm never not impressed when you guys come in. It's always something. The valve from the pig, the fact that was worked on here, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
A lot of animals up here, so it kind of fits. Upstate New York. So, all right, guys, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
And the website, they can learn stuff on the website as well?
Yep, we actually have a brand new website that we just launched a couple of weeks ago, so mmri.edu, and they can go on there and learn about all of our principal investigators, all the research that we do, make donations, watch videos, all sorts of fun.
Can they make donations?
They can make donations.
Big ones.
The heart you save could be your own.
That's true.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Coming up, we'll speak with Sheriff Rob Mashel, and there's a lot going on with this illegal immigrant situation in Ithaca. There was somebody who was considered a hardened criminal who was released. Believe it or not, that person is in Oneida County Jail right now. How is Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel going to be handling this mandate from President Trump? We'll get to that coming right up.
The Empower program is a free energy upgrade program through New York State. It provides upgrades like insulation, gas furnaces, hot water tanks.
We have a full team that identifies what each individual homeowner can receive, every single penny that they could get, and then we do all the processing.
I'm a salesman, but I'm not a salesman. I don't take money from the homeowner. I find funding to give back to them.
There's a different way to do it, and we do it at Standard.
This is no cost to you. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You don't qualify? Like, how are you going to know unless you call?
Learn more at standardco.com.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hey, what a year winter it has been. And if you love outdoor things, outdoor sports, what a year it has been. Herkimer County Development has a new website. And you can, there's so much you can learn, things that are going on in the area. If you're looking for adventure, you can hit the slopes in McCauley Mountain, explore hundreds of miles of scenic, well-groomed snowmobile trails, or try ice fishing, snowshoeing, and cross-country skiing. The list goes on. On their website, you can submit items as well. You may have an event that is coming up. Could even be your own personal garage sale. It can be promoted on the Herkimer County website, herkimercounty.ny.gov. And I have to say, this is a website where you can find all events that are going on around town. Herkimer County, where history, commerce, and beauty collide. It is happening this winter in Herkimer County. Go to herkimercountyny.gov.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
And the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program, keeping us all awake, is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck and everybody over there. Make sure that drive-through is lightning fast. The donuts made fresh, along with their bagels and everything, made fresh at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford every morning. So the lights are on at Daylight early in the morning.
Yes.
And you know that drive-through is lightning fast, and the coffee is always hot, piping, and fresh and delicious. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. In studio right now, Sheriff Rob Mashel. Sheriff, you have some fellow sheriffs who seem to be making the news these days.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm certainly not going to comment on any action that another sheriff takes. I'm sure they have their reasons why they do or don't do things. So I'd like to focus, if I could, on what we do here.
Yeah.
Obviously, one particular news that made national news was an individual who was sought by ICE agents in the Ithaca area. He was incarcerated down there on local assault charges down there. And prior to him being turned over to ICE, he was released. ICE agents then apparently located him in that area eventually after he was released, at which time ICE agents turned the individual over to the United States Marshals Service. So if I could pause right there for a second and back up about 20 or 25 years here in Oneida County, my predecessor, Sheriff Dan Middaugh, I've been the sheriff for 15 years. Prior to that, Sheriff Middaugh was in office. And we have had a contract since his administration with the United States Marshals Service. We're one of a handful of jails in New York State. We reserve between 35 and 50 beds for the U.S. Marshals Service for inmates in custody of the U.S. Marshal. So,
okay. How often do they use that?
We have them with us all the time.
Okay.
We've always had them.
Yep. And I'm assuming we're about to potentially have an increase.
We we're anticipating that.
Yeah.
But there's a
Yeah.
process. So I have an obligation, number one, to protect the people in our community here of Oneida County. I also, on the flip side, have an obligation to protect the rights of people in my custody to ensure they're safe and secure and none of their rights are being violated. So it's a balancing act. It's actually a really simple process. You just need to make sure you got all your I's dotted, your T's crossed. In this case, so fast forward back to this case, when he was turned over, the Ithaca case, when he was turned over from ICE to the U.S. Marshal Service, because he's picked up on a warrant signed by a U.S. District Court judge. That's how they picked him up. And then there's a document that's called a prisoner remand that's directed to me from the United States Marshal Service, which authorizes me to take him into custody from the Marshal Service, not from ICE, from the Marshal Service, placed into our custody. The next morning, he had a hearing, a virtual hearing from the jail, and it was determined that we're going to continue to hold him.
So he's there right now.
Right now, and he's had his hearing. Again, we're not holding him without authorization. We're not holding him without due process on his side of things. And on top of that, we immediately, my chief deputy in the correctional facility, Mark Kinderman, who runs the jail, he immediately reached out to the consulate from this individual's home country. They reached out to us as soon as they found out he was in our custody. He reached out to them. They set up a time when the consulate can actually speak to the inmate that's in our custody to ensure that everything is being, they're being taken care of and whatnot. So it's a very legal process. And at the same time, we're in full compliance with helping to remove dangerous people here who are illegal in our country.
What we're hearing a lot of right now is that we're talking about people who are criminals.
Correct.
Not necessarily just someone that might be here. And you have to, what gets tricky about this is many of the people who may be thought to be here illegally came illegally, but were processed by this government and let into by America, not
Correct.
the current administration, and then let into the country.
Yes.
So now we're going back and saying that wasn't correct. So we told you this, and now this is getting tricky.
It's very tricky. Yeah. And on top of that,
but if I could, the one thing I want to ask about is this person a criminal who just came in and broke the law by coming into the country, or is this
illegally crossed into our country multiple times?
And what kind of crimes are we talking about?
Assault.
So this is a dangerous criminal.
Anyone that assaults anyone, and anyone that's convicted of assaulting someone, because he was actually did time on the assault conviction. So it's not like he was accused. He was convicted. He was actually doing time on an assault charge. Correct.
This is from Lance and Lee. As a conservative, and I know you've prefaced you're not going to get into Sheriff Shelley's decision, but Lance and Lee saying, as a conservative who has voted for the sheriff since he's been in office, I ask, has there been any Democrats trying to get him to not work with ICE agents? The Onondaga sheriff says he will not work with ICE.
No one has tried to convince me to work with or against them. Absolutely not. And if they did, I mean, I said I have an obligation to do what I'm supposed to do, and I will do what I have to protect our people, not only in Oneida County, but again, you have to look at, and I don't know the answer to these questions, like in the Tompkins County case, I don't know if the sheriff has a standing contract with the marshals like we do. We're only a handful of jails in the state do. So, there's a lot of other questions. Again, I don't want to get into either Onondaga County or Tioga.
Your decision was pretty easy.
My decision was very easy. We'll take them as long as the legal process is followed as far as because again, if you look, Suffolk County faced here's why I need to make sure all these documents are in place. Suffolk County recently had a decision against them in the amount of $90 million for holding illegals too long in their custody without proper authorization to do so. $90 million. I certainly wouldn't want that on the weights of Oneida County.
Yeah.
So we will gladly take them as long as the process is followed, to a T. And back to your point, Bill, the fear that a lot of people have in New York State, 35% of the construction workforce is migrant workers, many of which who are here not legally because things have expired.
50%. I think the biggest thing is overstaying their visa.
50% of farm workers are here undocumented. Okay, so if they're looking for a violent person and they come across a household full of people, and these others aren't wanted on criminal charges, but they are here illegally, okay, the question is, are they going to be taken or not? That's a decision on ICE, obviously. But we have to look at the fact that when 50% of the farm workforce, 35% of the construction workforce are people who are here not committing crimes other than obviously being here when they, over their stay or expired status or whatever. But who's going to do that work when they go away? Again, that's a much bigger question. That's got nothing to do with me.
Well,
but
it begs the question, if these individuals who have maybe overstayed their welcome, maybe, and they may not be aware of the fact that they are unintentionally harboring somebody. Maybe they got to tell that person, you got to find some other place to go.
The only other problem, and when
the employer knows,
I'm sure they do.
But you have to know because you can't fill out the documents.
That is correct. That is correct.
Everybody knows. It's not a matter of I did not know we had someone who was.
But when someone's captured coming across the border by the agents, the federal agents, and they're processed and vetted, I mean, the vetting is not what you would think it is. I mean, but it's somewhat of a vetting, okay? And then they're released into the country with court dates that are 3 and 5 and 7 years later. I mean, that's messed up. But our system is so bogged down.
Right.
So I say we, just as you did a little while ago, we created this over generations here.
And
that's why immigration has been a debate since I was obviously since I've been watching the news as a kid.
Yeah.
And where this becomes extremely difficult is when they've stayed in the nation, they have basically become members of communities. Their kids go to school. In some cases, they've gone through school, born in the United States. All of a sudden, these become very, very, very complicated issues.
At the end of the day, we will do what we have to do to assist our partners in keeping our community safe. But I have to do that in a legal fashion.
I do have Deeds in New Hartford asking, I just want to know if Mayfield agrees with that sheriff's decision.
I am not going to comment on that because, again, that's his county, as I wouldn't want another sheriff commenting on what
So let's pose it this way. If ICE says, hey, Sheriff Mayfield, we need your department's assistance to get this person under custody, you will cooperate.
They did it with this guy. They reached out to us and they said, we have this person we need you to hold.
Where is this guy?
He's in our jail, Oneida County Jail. We need you to hold this guy. We reviewed the paperwork they had. It went through the proper process. And we took him.
Here is Deeds on the phone right now. You're on with Sheriff Mayfield.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate it. So let me, Bill just asked my question, but let me rephrase it. With public safety in mind, do you feel that that was the right decision to be made to let him back out into the community? Thanks, guys.
Okay.
I missed the very first part of that.
I will say, I think you've answered this, but and you answered it by your actions. He's saying, with public safety in mind, was it the right decision for this sheriff to release this person?
Well, I'll answer it this way. If I had someone in my custody and we were done with them and another agency wanted them and they had a warrant for them, we are allowed to hold them for a reasonable amount of time without a court hearing. So it happens to us all the time. We pick someone up we're done with them. Another agency has a warrant for them. We will hold them as long as we know that agency is on their way. I mean, I can't hold them for 3 days, a week, 10 days, but if I know that agency is en route to pick someone up, and if they're coming from far away, it's going to take them time, we will hold them. So
it's very interesting when you think about it, is because during the Biden administration, there were ICE agents that disagreed with the policy of the United States.
Sure.
They still did their job.
Absolutely.
And in accordance with the law.
Correct.
And now I'm sure there are ICE agents who don't necessarily agree with what's going on right now. Their duty is to follow the law.
Sure.
And you're really bound in the same
I'm bound in the same
way.
manner. Again, the main reason I don't want to comment on Tompkins County or Onondaga County is I don't know if we're missing a piece of the puzzle here. Maybe there's something that we're not aware of that could change the whole dynamic. So I just have to worry about Oneida County here.
This is a very big and complicated issue.
It is. But
we're seeing it in Tompkins County. We're seeing it in Onondaga. How long before we're seeing it in Oneida?
It's knocking on our doorstep.
Okay, so it's coming. And there are people that are afraid. There are those who...
And I understand, and like I said, there are some families who are here. They're working hard. They're sending money back home to their families. And, again, when I say we, it's not me because I don't make this. It's a totally different decision process. But if you lose 50% of the farm workers and 35% of the construction workers, what happens then?
Yeah,
especially in harvest season and crop season, and agriculture is New York's #1 industry. If tomorrow 50% of the workforce went away, there's nobody waiting at the front door to come and take these jobs.
And this is not a problem that has occurred during the Biden
like I said, this is generations.
This is long.
Absolutely.
And when it's always the way it's been done, and there you are, this is your workforce, and this thought that for agriculture, for instance, that we are they just don't want, the farmers don't want to pay, or the farmers these jobs they're taking away from regular Americans.
They're not.
And that's they can't find anybody to do this work.
I'm a tiny guy in the farm world, tiny. But let me tell you, I can't find people to help me unload a hay wagon on a July day.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what real farmers.
Have you ever called Andrew?
No. I don't know. Would that work or not? I don't know.
Yeah, listen, if it pays enough, I'll do it.
That's the problem.
Complicated time, but at the end of the day, your answer is you're following the law.
I'm following the law, and we will do everything the law allows me to do to keep the people of Oneida County safe.
Right.
That's my obligation.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Sheriff, as always, we appreciate it. We're back here tomorrow morning, and Kilmeade is next.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Want selection on your next mattress? At Mattress Express, we have Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, and more. No one else in New York State has all these brands under one roof, open 7 days a week.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund, so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome,
W295EI,
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Will he change his mind? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump says he won't, but he will talk today to the leaders of Canada and Mexico before he imposes 25% tariffs on their imports tomorrow, another 10% on goods from China.
We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that. But long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world.
President Trump conceding prices could go up on some goods. He says tariffs will stay in place until there is a trade balance with other countries. And Mexico and Canada do more to stop the flow of illegal immigration and drugs from reaching the U.S.
Fox's Jared